You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentary.
Good.
Sorry?
Yeah, I see every
Yeah, we're on with press today. So.
Good afternoon and welcome to the sports ground at Bideford. I've just been trying to be thrown out of my seat by a chap who insists that he sits here every game, and because we're here today he can't sit here, and I think he's a bit annoyed, so he's going to go sit in front of us. We are playing from left to right in our purple away kit, and the team is Luke Williams, number 2 Sean Fraser, 3 Ryan Parsons, 4 Guy Hollis as we kick off, 5 Reece York, Ben Edwards captain at 6, Johnny Dyer 7, Adam Martin at 8, Scott Harris at 9. And unfortunately Bideford have scored within seconds of starting. Looks like quite poor defending from Slough.
A goal, just a ball played through and it's slotted straight through, and a goal within 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
And team finished reading the teams out. We got to 10 Tom Moran, 9 Scott Harris, 10 Ed Smith and 11 Tom Moran, and Bideford are already a goal up, 10 seconds on the clock, some very poor defending from Slough, and we're behind the 8 ball before we start. It's very cold and windy here, very overcast, and we're high up in the main stand, and Slough kicking off again, kicking from left to right.
That was Tucker who scored that goal literally within 10 to 13 seconds of that first time, and he's brand new into this Bideford A.F.C setup from local rivals Barnstable, and it's unbelievable. Mick, what have you done to us?
I think I've put the curse on. We were a little bit late starting because we had a minute's silence as well, but that was unbelievable defending. From what I saw, I was reading the team sheet out at the time, unfortunately. I'll go through the Bideford team for you. Unless we have another goal. There's a free kick to Bideford. The keeper's taking it halfway inside his own half, plays it forward down the right hand side, but it's straight out of play, and Ryan Parsons will take it. So in goal for Bideford, it's Steve Oliver, Ian Sampson at 2, Nick Barker at 3, Craig Veal at 4, Dan Harrison 5, 6 Mac Villis, 7 Captain Richard Groves.
Slough on the attack with Ed Smith into the box, and Ed Smith's going to try and chip it over and level. He's hit the post! And Ed Smith within 2 minutes has almost levelled for Slough. Slough going behind after 13 seconds, and Ed Smith clear through on goal on the left hand side, chipped it over the onrushing Oliver, but it only ricocheted off the left hand upright and wide. Ed Smith coming close to adding to his goal scoring record.
It also was a save from the keeper because we've got a corner out of that. So I'm afraid, that was going to go in if the keeper hadn't got a touch, so a good save from him as well. But a corner on the far side to Slough.
And a few of the travelling Rebel Army look-oners. It's Ryan Parsons dinking the ball in from the left-hand side, well punched away by Oliver. To the edge of the box, Adam Martin volleys out the ground towards the Robin's Nest away to the right. And a few of the locals in jovial spirits here early on, as we've played less than 3 minutes and the Robins are ahead.
And if this is a portent of what's to come, it should be quite a decent game. The pitch is extremely heavy. It has rained quite a bit. There are black clouds everywhere. And the away dugout is fairly swamped with water, and Bakes and Unders are stood at the edge of it rather than sinking the deep end. But it's a goal kick now away to our right, as the wind really getting up and blowing from left to right. So Slough are playing with the wind this half, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, there's absolute gusts everywhere. There's real grey here. It's been a real squally day, as Mick says. We're sat in the back of the big stand here in Bideford, away, the ball getting really held up from that clearance away from Oliver. Slough get it under control, try and chip the ball forward. Ed Smith was in an offside position, but it's run all the way through to Oliver. Joining us late on, we played barely 4 minutes, and Slough trailed through a goal from Tucker within the first 20 seconds of the game. He was played through, it was a simple flick, slotted it past hapless Williams, and Slough trail early on the road down in Devon as the ball's played forward, and Reece York's heavily involved as he tries to clear the ball forward. And it's not a great day for playing football out there at all, is it, Mick?
It isn't. The pitch is very heavy. As I say, the wind is blowing straight down the field. The wind is behind Slough this half, which hopefully should help them. And we've got a throw-in on this side. Sean Fraser to take it.
thrown long down the line. And Tom Moran, who's in for Jake Parsons in midfield, I think his physicality and his size and perhaps the way he plays football is perhaps suited to these conditions. There's a little bit of missed defending there by Harrison, and he's headed it back, but across comes the keeper. Clears the ball out left-footed, well dealt with by Steve Oliver. Missed my car, which I'm happy to say, and there's going to be an attacking throw to Slough almost in the corner quadrant and in the right-hand corner. Guy Hollis makes his way forward for a long throw, as does Rhys Shawk. Bideford not leaving huge numbers of players forward. It's only the little man, the goal scorer, Billy Tucker. Must be absolutely buzzing at the moment, but he's on the halfway line. Slough about to throw the ball in towards the near post into a sandy goal mouth. Hollis steps up, helped by the wind, thrown in towards the near post, but well headed away. And now Bideford have the chance to break and clear a long ball forward. It's got Tucker interested, but it's all the way through to Ryan Parsons, who bobbles it back to Williams, and Williams takes a couple of touches, clears it, and with wind assisting, it's carrying a long way through, and has the keeper, once again, Oliver, quick off his line, dressed in an orange shirt, black shorts and black socks, and he's going to have to be alert. Plays a bit of a sweeper almost this first half.
Yes, he is, and we've got to be aware of the wind behind and not overplay it, which we did then. We can use this wind first half if we're careful.
Ball cleared long, Rhys Shawk with the header into midfield. It's batted around, Johnny Dyer after it, but it's cleared out by Nick Barker in the left back position, and as you might have been able to hear, it hit the top of the standards. Some females just down trying to I think do the 50-50 raffle or something. They are looking somewhat windswept, Mick.
Just a touch. It is. We are a little bit sheltered on the back row, but it is very, very windy here today.
So if you're joining us late, we've played 6 minutes here at the Sports Stadium Bideford. Bideford with a dream start almost directly from kickoff. They run the ball forward and it's gone through to new signing Billy Tucker, who's just slotted the ball on the ground underneath and past Williams for a tremendous start for Bideford and a horrendous start for Slough. Slough just play the ball a little bit too long. They haven't quite adapted to the conditions. The linesman's flag away to our right hand side is buffeted in that wind down towards the Robin's Nest, and there's a few lucky souls in the Robin's Nest getting a good view of the ground from inside the warm.
And the corner flags are bowed as well. It really is a strong breeze, and we've got to make more use of this in this half and play it better. But you can see 3 rows in front of us, there are ladies selling raffle tickets, and the hair's blowing about all over the place. No wonder that guy sits here every week, because it's a bit sheltered, but it's still very, very cold.
Mick, you've been fighting with people. You shouldn't do that when we're away and about. You shouldn't fight. Be nice.
No, I'm trying not to. I only punched him once, to be fair. And that goal kick that goal kick. The wind is so strong. It went out of the penalty area, stood up in the air, and it's gone out virtually level with the edge of the penalty area. And that's how strong the wind is in our favour this half.
The Slough fans away over on that right side. There's a good number of them, maybe 50 or 60 over there, hidden away under the shelter, stood behind Guy Hollis as he's got a long run up to bowl the ball into the area again. Fired in towards the new post. It's flicked on, but helped away on its way well by Richard Groves, the captain. And again, Billy Tucker now buffeting up against Fraser. And Billy Tucker does well. He looks full of energy and live wire early on, and he's done well. He's kept the ball, but he's kept his feet. And Billy's really battling hard in there, and he's looking to get it taken quickly. The referee today, Mr. Mark Russell, says no, that's not quite where it's taken from. And Slough are encouraging the players to get on with it.
He's a bit of a live wire, is that number 10. He's only a little lad. His shorts are well below his knees. That's how small he is. But he's buzzing around there, causing us a few problems.
Poor free kick from Barker, immediately repelled there by Guy Hollis, but Barker's going to have another opportunity. Hooks it on its way. It's up in the air, and it's Ben Wood underneath it, but won by Tom Moran, who's knocked the ball out of play, and it's going to be a throw into the Robins, who've had a dream start as we played almost 8 minutes here, and 1 goal separates the team. It was a first-minute goal from Tucker, who ran through to the box. Very soft goal as Slough gave it away. They looked as if they just were asleep and hadn't started. As ball hooked into the area, and the wind's held Parcells' ball up completely, and it's gone all the way across the far side to Veal, and Veal's done. Plays it all the way back to Barker. To Sampson, Sampson on the far right-hand side, up against Ben Edwards out there, but he's hooked the ball up the line, and once again it's Tucker. Tucker's skipped inside. He's left-footed across. Its opportunity there for Parcell, and Parcells slapped the ball away, and Slough already trailing. Bideford look dangerous.
Yes, they do, and that could easily have been a goal. He got his feet wrapped up in himself there, otherwise we could have been 2-0 down, and there wasn't particularly good marking at the back. But that cross that went in, it boomeranged back. It was aiming for the 6-yard box and ended up bouncing on the edge of the 18-yard box. That's how strong the wind is.
But that was a good chance for Parcell.
Yes, it was.
But after 8 minutes, he could have doubled the Robins lead as he again flicks the ball on now. And it's Tucker, who's been everywhere in these first 10 minutes, who's buffeting and pushing a bit of pressure on Hollis, and he's won the throw on the far side, just on the Morrison side, as I think I'm going to call it.
Yes, I think so. The Morrisons, yes, they have a big Morrisons directly behind that far stand. He's buzzing about. Hopefully he'll run out of steam before the end of the game, or probably before half-time, with a little bit of luck.
As Slough clear their lines, up to Johnny Dyer, who flicks the ball on in the direction of Ed Smith, but it's well dealt with there at the back by Harrison. And Harrison once again repels the ball. It's all a little bit messy and untidy there. Slough now with the wind at their backs, play the ball out to the right back, Fraser. Fraser flicks the ball down the line, but I think Barker's going to win that head of Dyer, and Barker comes through well, has a couple of goes at it, and now Barker continues to run, can't quite step it up, and it's gone out of play. The locals happy with the start.
Yeah, we haven't settled down at all. We should be putting our foot on the ball a bit better than we have. We've got a good away record.
And Tucker's once again on the back of Hollis, and Hollis has to take evasive action, and then York's hooked it on, and it's forward for Ed Smith to chase, but well cleared up by Villis, who heads the ball back to Oliver. Oliver bowls it out immediately to Sampson. Bit of time and space. Biddy trying to perhaps keep the ball on the deck a little bit, as as that ball's just gone up in the air and it's just gone straight out of play. It's difficult playing conditions.
Well, yeah, I mean that one went at 45 degrees to where he hit it. It's gone out. It's gone out on the far side, and it's really the conditions are spoiling this just at the moment. But we've got to make the most of it first half. We've got a free kick as well, and that's just outside the box on the far side. But the ball's still rolling behind the goal there. Such is the wind. And in fact, the corner flag on this near side, on the right hand side, has actually come off. It's lost its flag. It's so windy.
And we're getting slightly attacked by pigeons. Hopefully that's not going to be a sign for the future, but a free kick, left-hand edge of the penalty box and deep in the Bideford half. It's going to be Ryan Parsons to take it from the left foot. Out-swinging cross. He hasn't got enough on it, and it's just flicked away, but it's going to fall to Ben Edwards, who's captain for the day. Plays the ball back, and Sean Fraser tries to chip a ball in. Plenty of bodies in there. It's flicked back in. A chance for Johnny Dyer, 6 yards out, and he's hooked it over the bar when it was easier to score on the half volley.
I have no idea how he put that one. He put that one a yard over the bar from 6 yards. That was a dreadful, dreadful miss. He had all the time in the world. There was no one round him. He had no pressure on him. And I don't think you can say it bobbled, because it didn't, basically.
He just
it was just a dreadful shot.
Slightly as it bounced in front of him, but he was no more than 6-7 yards out. He sliced it, and it was, it was more appropriate to a rugby field than a football field.
And he knows it. He's looked heavenwards at that one.
As clearance once again from Oliver. Squire's thrown himself at the ball, but adjudged to have fouled by Mr. Mark Russell. So it's another free kick to Slough. Slough looking to try and get back into this game after the early setback, as Tucker got on the score sheet within a first minute of the game. The wind just blustering up. The joint management team of Slough just away to the dugout, just in front of us down to the left-hand side, just ushering for Fraser to calm down. The wind's so strong, it's a risk of blowing the ball. The ball's actually moving without him actually having kicked the ball. He now chips it towards the far post, towards Tom Moran. It's ricocheted towards the edge of the box. Adam Martin's going to have a chance. He pokes it out to the right-hand side, and Fraser's got a chase on. He's not going to make it, and Biddy are going to be able to relieve the pressure here. But we have played 13 minutes, and it's Bideford in the ascendancy as they've got the goal advantage, and they could have had a second there, really, with Parcell scoring, having that good chance as the ball was played across the ground.
They could, but we could have got a goal back there. We could have got a goal back, and it's not the world's greatest shot, let's just say that, from 6 yards.
It's a very open game. I'm sure there was some Biddy fans before the game wondering whether they'd missed Downley, who's obviously broke his foot in the 6-0 defeat at home on Tuesday evening to Poole. Both these teams in their last game having played against Poole, and both having failed to score against the league leaders. And obviously Poole scored 4 against Slough and then 6 against Biddy on Tuesday night, but no such problems finding the back of the net so far today.
Yeah. I suppose we're lucky we've got a game on. The Redditch game is off because of snow. I don't know whether any of the others have been postponed, but certainly this morning it was snowing, and that had no chance of being played.
Once again, the wind's having an effect as Slough are penning Biddy in at the moment, and a long throw in from Guy Hollis finds the edge of the box, but it's now once again cleared up in the air, but the ball's not travelling well in the air, and Hollis at the back of Squire seemed to be pushing him a bit, but nothing doing, and hook back forward. Johnny Jar jumping all over Barker into Harris to Dyer, right hand edge of the box, just holding the ball up, clips it down to Adam Martin in the corner. clips it back off Barker, and it will be a throw to Slough once again. Slough just applying a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, I think since the goal went in, we've equalled them. To be fair.
Yeah, Bideford wearing all red, hence their nickname of the Robins, and Slough wearing their all purple MyFC kit. Hopefully, when the floodlights come on in the second half, it will be clear to distinguish the teams. They look fine in these, but you can imagine in dark and murky conditions it may be a little bit harder.
Yes, I think so. Oh!
Once again, fantastic block there, denied Scott Harris at the near post, and finally cleared up well there by Matt Villis, but how Scott Harris did not score from barely 2 or 3 yards out. It was great defending by Villis, but also not clinical from Harris there.
It wasn't, but as you said, it was very, very good defending. He got across, otherwise that was a certain goal because he did keep it down.
Another header, another throw fired into the box, and this time it's Tucker trying to bring it away. Chips the ball through to Squires, but Squires hasn't got the legs to get there, and Hollis now will chip the ball forward. Plays it down the line to Adam Martin, who's in the right wing position. Tries to cut it across. It's going to roll out harmlessly for a goal kick, and Bideford will be allowed to alleviate the pressure for a moment. But two good clear chances, and Slough will be ruining themselves that they haven't made one of them count.
We've got back into it since the goal. I think we've probably had more of the play, partly because of the wind. There's a bit of disturbance. There's some chap at the bottom that everybody knows he's been told to sit down. Not that he's blocking anybody's view, poor lad.
He broke his foot, didn't he? On Tuesday night against Poole, yeah, he's out for 2 months. Oh, and his knee as well. And once again, Billy Tucker's through, putting Hollis under a bit of pressure. He's running towards his own corner flag. He clears the ball well and high and long, and it's down the line, but out in front of the Slough dugout. As the player we're just being told who was coming in and who was in the way was actually young Steve Downley, who got injured in the Poole game. So that was him, and that's why he's gone into much amusement. And
that's why they're giving him stick. Yeah, fair enough.
Being polite.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's understandable.
Now Bideford have the chance. They're camped up in the Slough half. A long throw coming in from the left-hand side by Ben Wood. Headed away by Sean Fraser. A slip there from Adam Martin allows the ball to go back to Wood out on the left, up against Fraser. He hooks the ball towards the edge of the box. Flicked on by Tucker, and it's dangerous. And it's in there to Richard Groves. And Richard Groves should have done better, but he's put the ball wide as Groves had a great opportunity to double the lead on the 16th minute.
Left foot from 6 yards. And it missed by a country mile. That was not particularly brilliant. If he hit it with his right foot, we might have been all right, but
it could be 3-2 at this stage.
Yes, it could be. It could easily be 3-2.
I think the one thing that if you're not here, you're probably going to be lucky is that I can't imagine there's going to be no. I think there's going to be goals in this game, don't you?
I think there should be. There should be goals in this game.
We can't put the mockers on it too early, but I think the way both teams are playing and defending, I think there might be a few more goals tonight.
Yeah.
As a long clearance again, and Slough need to make the most of this wind advantage, because in the second half it will be very, very different for them as Hollis comes through the back, but it's hooked forward, and now Squires is in a foot race, but Fraser's going to get there. The ball's going to be going out on this near side, and it's out of play. Behind the goal to our left, where Williams is dressed all in yellow, there's just a little car park where there's a good number of fans in today.
Yeah.
I would say maybe a couple of hundred here, and a push there by Adam Martin. The referee put his whistle in his mouth, but didn't blow, much to the frustration of some of the Robins players, because he certainly put his whistle in his mouth, didn't he? There.
Yes, I thought he was going to do it, and then he changed his mind. He's made some signal to the linesman, I think, about his played advantage. Whether he did or not's a different issue. But it's a throw-in on this near side, just in front of the home dugouts.
Launching it in the direction of Reece York, flicked up in the air, headed away by Groves. Headed back in by Ben Edwards, flicked on by Tom Moran, and it's fallen to Adam Martin. He's driven it cross goal. It's ricocheted away there off Harrison, I think it was, and it's finally cleared by Nick Barker, away for yet another Slough throw.
I think that was actually going out of play as well if he hadn't have touched it, so we were right behind that one.
Long throw in again on the right hand side from Hollis. Hollis fires it in towards the near post. York was underneath it. He's bouncing around in the air, and Kille tried to head it on, and it looked as if Harris was offside. He didn't interfere, and Steve Oliver's got the ball in his hands. But once again, Slough putting pressure on the Bideford defence.
These long throw-ins from this side are crucial because they're actually hitting the penalty spot with the wind behind. They're curling in and getting to the penalty spot, so we could do some damage with this first half. There's another example of the ball just swirling straight out to play on the halfway line from the kick out from the keeper.
The management team from Slough are trying to engage and get the players going. They're trying to fire them up a bit. It was a long journey down. They came down in cars this morning. Adam Martin looked like he handled that one. Finally, Mr. Russell agrees with the decision against Slough, and he's awarded against it, much to Adam Martin's discontent, who's stood there having a big discussion. Adam Martin, one of a few players who's actually come down here already this season. He was down here a few weeks ago when Cambridge City came down. I think that game was curtailed due to one of the floodlight failure episodes that's happened down here. So it's tough when you change teams midway during the season, but Adam Martin's already been down here. I think the goalkeeper, Luke Williams, who obviously is ex-Hereford, he's been down here before. I think he conceded 3 on his last visit, if I'll check with the locals, but I think was it 3-3 when Hereford came down here? Do you remember? Yeah, he's just saying, Hillary, I like him. He can come more often. As the ball's played forward up in the air. Squires is underneath it, but Reshort wins it, but Groves is the first to it, but Ben Edwards pulls him off it. He gets fouled by Groves, and then the ball's kicked away by Squires. And Tom Moran's not very happy about that, and Williams races away over the far side towards the corner flag to try and rescue. As a man's hat just blows off down there, much to some people's amusement, well, mine anyway. There's a number of Truro fans here as well. Do you want to talk about them?
I don't know why. Where are they supposed to be playing today?
The Truro fans are here because they got banned from their own games.
Oh,
because
they got banned
set
from
off a flare away at Dunstable, and it was
Ah.
smoking away everywhere. And they got them. They were risk of the club getting in trouble. The Truro chairman didn't like it. He told the players not to go and celebrate after to go and recognise the fans at the end of the game, despite the fact they'd travelled up from Truro to Dunstable. And the fans didn't like this, and one of the fans actually went into the boardroom at the end of the game and confronted said chairman, who didn't take it very well.
No, I bet he didn't.
And so Slough on the attack here, and Ben Edwards plays it into the box to feet. Johnny Dyer holding the ball up, back out to Fraser. Fraser looking to try and get the ball into the box, chips it towards the far post. Scott Harris is underneath it. Scott Harris takes a touch, but miscontrols it, and it's going to be cleared away by Parcell. And Parcell clears it off Tom Moran. And it's still Bideford yet to clear their lines as Tom Moran chips the ball in, but there's no Slough players there. Johnny Dyer's going to race across, and Oliver's coming across to usher the ball out, and that will do. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the Truro situation. Yeah, he's banned some of them for 1 year and a few others for 2 years.
For 2 years.
And it just seems very harsh. Initially, as the sun comes out and bathes the sportsman
Oh my
in a bit of
goodness
sunlight. So they're banned from going to watch it, so they can't see any football at this level. So I think Bideford were good enough to invite them down here.
Well, I wondered why they were in the bar with Truro City shirts on. I couldn't work it out. I wondered if their game had been.
They've even
Yeah, the supporters club here were kind enough to invite them down. That's why they are here. Goal kick taken again. It swirls back towards the goal, and we have it in midfield again.
And once again, the ball's back in midfield. Back to Reshort, and Reshort puts a very aerial one there. The appeals for offside as Ed Smith's trying to get on the back of it. Slough playing very direct as Ryan Parsons comes in from the far side, tripping over Johnny Dyer. He's flicked it into Ed Smith, who's offside. It won't count. And it's actually Scott Harris in there. Scott Harris puts the ball in the net.
I could see that from here.
You could see that from
Unfortunately, here. But it's encouraging. We've actually got the ball in the net. Yes, he was offside. I think had he been a yard further back, he may well still have scored, because I'm not sure the defender was anywhere near him, to be honest.
But we have played 22 minutes here at the sports ground. Bideford lead by 1-0, and it's that the player playing his second home game for them, Tucker from Barnstable, who really ran through the Slough defence unopposed after all of 13 seconds. And again, he's trying to get involved and get into the ball, but Slough have adapted a little bit better, trying to play a direct long football as Ben Edwards heads the ball out to Adam Martin. He's playing on the right-hand side of midfield, but it's a strong tackle comes in from Parcell, and then it's almost a bit like children's football at the moment. There's lots of bodies around the ball and not much activity. As Tom Moran tries to chip the ball forward, it's just straight out of play, and it's a little bit attritional out there, isn't it?
If anybody cares to go on YouTube and look up a guy called John Paul Kissick, who plays for Macclesfield or played for Macclesfield, Tucker reminds me of him. He's a small lad. He's like a wasp buzzing round, the one that annoys you. You can never swat and you can never stop him. And he's just getting up everybody's nose at the moment. Certainly in a purple shirt.
Long throw from the left back position, and it's only headed up in the air by Tom Moran. This is good time, and then Squire looks to quickly take a throw, but he slows the game down and then doesn't throw the ball up, already wasting a little bit of time, as Nick Barker, just inside the Slough half on this far left-hand side, just in front of the muddy, wet Slough dugout, throws the ball down the line to the feet of Squires. Squires holds it up well under a lot of pressure from Tom Moran, tries to chip the ball forward. Tom Moran doing a good job just holding him off, but concedes the throw-in, and the locals are showing quite a lot of encouragement at the moment.
Yes, they are, but they've not had a lot to shout about since the goal went in. Apart from one chance, I think we've had the better of it. Yeah. This is the first time they've been down in our end for quite a while.
There hasn't been an awful lot of chance for Bideford as yet, but Parcell could have made it too, as good run inside and around, and a shot by Ben Wood. Wasn't really testing Williams, but it was certainly better effort as he ran round the left-hand edge of the box, curled inside and shot right-footed, but it wasn't really troubling. A long clearance again with Williams, wind assisted, finds Slough trying to attack, hooked away by Tucker inside his own half, only as far as the halfway line where it's bouncing. Parsons going to try and get it under control. He hooks the ball forward in the direction of Ben Edwards, over Ben Edwards, and it's going to be Groves picking up the ball in midfield for the Robinson, plays an aerial ball, and Squires was in an offside position. And Squire was in an offside position. Slough get play underway quickly, and Tom Moran with the ball feeds it out to Fraser. Fraser looking forward, takes a touch into Johnny Dyer, off to Tom Moran, but it's intercepted there, and Tucker's now on the ball, and Hollis wins the ball. The Bideford bench are appealing for a foul, but Slough continue to play, and Ed Smith was in an offside position. The Bideford backers playing a high line. It looked like a clear handball there from Tom Moran, but nothing doing as Johnny Dyer and Scott Harris try and play kind of keepy ups in all the way in 1-2 formation, but it's all the way through to Oliver. Oliver's just slowing the ball game.
Yeah, I don't think that was a handball. I think that
was ball to hand. I think the management team of Bideford are just suggesting the referee might need to visit Specsavers in a rather agricultural way.
Yes. The Scottish Premier League referees were sponsored by Specsavers a few seasons ago. And balls, again, a clearance from the keeper, swirls out on this side on the halfway line, throwing to Slough.
It's almost a little bit like rugby at the moment, isn't it? They're trying to find touch and a decent touch. They're just trying to get your foot in. There's a bit of confusion there as Ben Wood and Tucker getting each other's way, and Ed Smith was then having been ridden, as it were, by Dan Harrison, but cleared up to Squire, and Squire has Hollis. Hollis plays it across to York, centre circle. Got time and space to run forward. He's in the opposition half now. He fires the ball out to Parsons. Parsons with not a lot of support out there. Down to Johnny Dyer, still out wide for Slough. Slough just trying to build, trying to keep the ball on the floor a little bit, but Parsons under a little bit of pressure. There's no options in front of him. He's frustrated. He's waving his arm out there. Gets given the ball back though by Sampson and chips the ball into the box, and there's only Adam Martin in there, and Adam Martin pulling a push at Nick Barker there, and Nick Barker went down very soft. He's lying on the ground, but it's gone a little bit quiet these last 4 or 5 minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, but there again, they've had nothing to shout about, have they? The Bideford fans, they've not really tested us a great deal. We've certainly had the better of it, but they've got to play the ball on the ground. You can't play it up in the air in these conditions.
Another latest score from the division, I understand, is Truro 1, Burnham 1 down there. Further in the West Country, I think that'll be even wetter and windier down there. I think it's pretty horrible. As Groves picks up the ball in midfield, but Ben Edwards and him are having a good old scrap in there. Through the back and well cleared long there by Villis. And back goes Slough again, and Scott Harris just chasing that ball through, but it took wind assisted through to Oliver, and Slough just lacking a little bit of direction and composure there. Is better kick this time from Oliver, but it's still ricocheted to Johnny Dyer just inside the Bideford half. Flicked on by Sean Fraser in the direction of Ed Smith. Johnny Dyer helps it on its way. Adam Martin in midfield tries to get the ball down towards Ed Smith's feet. It's missed Ed Smith, and it's going to roll out all the way for a goal kick, and Slough just need to show a little bit more composure as we've played 27 minutes.
Bit of head tennis there, unfortunately, for both sides. I still think it's got to be played on the ground in these conditions. They've got to play it on the ground. The keeper's been told to speed it up as well. He seems to be wasting time. We've only played half an hour, and the referee's already had a word with him about time wasting.
St Neots are 1-0 down at home to Banbury. That's a hell of a score at the moment.
And what's the other game that's postponed?
There's a few different games. Arsley, Paul's postponed, and Redditch Hitchin are the ones that I understand are postponed. The rest are still going ahead as the ball's getting bounced around in the midfield. Squire's certainly pushing himself about a little bit as he's returned to the side after sitting out on Tuesday night. Ball played forward long, and Scott Harris has helped it on its way with a nice toe poke out to Ed Smith, left-hand edge of the box, up against Sampson. Looking to cut inside Sampson. Is he going to pull the trigger? He does, but it's hopelessly wide, and it's only threatened the man sheltering in next to the Robin's Nest, and Slough are yet to really trouble the scorers.
Yes, I'm afraid so. A decent crowd here. There's that chap behind the goal, I think he's the ball boy. There's a block of flats behind that goal that Bideford are defending, so I hope they've got toughened glass in the windows.
Yeah, if you are listening wherever you may be, please do let us know how you're listening, what you're doing, and if you're enjoying it. It's quite an open, exciting game so far. Slough trail 1-0. They just weren't awake from that first time. And once again, the clearance from Oliver threatens the near touchline, but it's well kept in by Parcel. He fires it in the direction of Tucker. Now, Ben Edwards and Groves collide in the middle of midfield, but referee doesn't adjust anything wrong there, and a ball played forward long, and now it's going to be Ben Wood, or Woody as he's known locally, just trying to keep the ball in. Gets a little bit of a shove from Fraser and wins the throw off him.
Yes, a good defending from Slough. Bideford's throwing level with the edge of the Slough penalty area on this near side.
And it's going to be a long throw taken by Wood on the near side. Sean Fraser stood near the edge of the box. The small figure of Tucker buzzing around in there. But it's going to be the direction of Squire. And Squire underneath it. Squire flicks the ball on towards the edge of the penalty spot. But Tom Moran takes a touch. He's following Squire. Squire snapshot. Straight into the arms of Williams in the 29th minute.
Best chance they've had for a while, Bideford there. It was very easy for Luke though.
And Squire seems to be really up for this game as Fraser helps it on its way upfield, but it's won by Parcel, who's just clipped the ball forward. Hollis underneath it. The conditions really not favouring. Little Tucker gets up well, and now Groves lays it off to Wood. Wood cuts inside, and Wood a little bit trickery into Tucker. Tucker stepping over the ball once, twice, looking to get a crossing. Fires it in towards the edge of the box. No Bideford players there, but they retain the ball with right back Sampson midway inside the Slough half, curling the ball across. Headed away by Rhys York. Picked up again in the middle, but this time it's a poor execution there by Groves. But better signs there for Bideford.
Yeah, just a little bit. I don't recognise Rhys York. He's had a haircut.
He's had a shave.
He's had a shave. Yeah, he's had a shave as well and a haircut.
Oh yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's had his ball fire down the line as well, and now helped up and across by Tom Moran. It's bouncing around in the middle of midfield, and it's two players bouncing to one another, and Wood and Tucker for the first time weren't quite on the same wavelength, and they just need to talk. And so Fraser has a throw, fires it forward. Won by Fraser again, helped on its way by Moran. It's all quite direct and up in the air, flicked on by Johnny Dyer, away by Sampson. Fraser now right back, underneath it, heads it up in the air. Tom Moran heads it on. It'd be nice to see the ball on the grass at some stage. They like playing head tennis. Tom Moran heads it forward. It's volleyed up in the air. Rhys York lets it bounce, but now it's going to go aerial again. It's really ugly football at the moment.
Yes, it is. There's not a lot of pattern on either side.
As Wood just on the near side fails to keep the ball in, it'll be again an attacking throw, which Hollis is going to make his way forward to take. Rhys York's trying to consider where exactly the throw is going to be taken from. The two benches are arguing exactly about where the location of it is. Rhys York.
Referee's happy where
gone
it's
home.
from.
And Rhys York up there looking to get on the end of this, but it's fired in towards the near post. It's bounced down and it's sliced by Veal. It's still not clear. It's bouncing around in the box. It's headed away only as far as the edge of the box. It's still in there. It really is like children's football at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And Hollis heads the ball in, and it's bouncing around in there. Well headed away there by Harrison, I think it was. It's bouncing around. Another left-footed clearance, and it's up in the air, which isn't the best route. Headed on by Tom Moran. This is awful football. I'm sorry for anyone listening, but it is poor quality. But it's broken, and Wood's going to be able to drive a long ball forward, and it's got Squire interested. Squire headed the ball on, and he's down in the left-hand corner as we look at it. Plays it back to Wood. Wood skips, tried to play the ball off Fraser. And Wood not very happy. I'm not sure what he's agitated about. I think he just needs some support back there.
I think he thought he was obstructed, but he wasn't, unfortunately. He ran into Fraser. And he wouldn't have got the ball if he'd have gone past him anyway, because it went out of play. So we've got a throw in on the near side, right onto the halfway line. No.
And it's bouncing away, and Oliver's going to have to do something with this. And a left foot swinger. And I think it's gone out for a throw over there, but Slough once again pen in the back. We're in the last 15 minutes of this first half, and I think you have the feeling that with this strong wind advantage, Slough really do need to go in on at least level terms, if not ahead, because you can feel this wind is worth at least a goal or two.
Yeah, we're winning on head tennis, but not on football at the moment.
No, it still remains Bideford 1, Slough 0. Hollis fires yet another long throw into the box. It's around the near post. It's bouncing around there. Tom Moran goes to ground. It's clipped back out by Scott Harris to the thrower, Guy Hollis, onto his left foot. Chips the ball into the box. It's all bouncing around in there. There's a left foot strike. It hit his own player there from Harris. It hit Johnny Dyer on the back of the head. Edge of the box. Adam Martin heads it on. It's headed up in the air, and Ed Smith's going to take a touch inside the edge of the box. Out to Adam Martin. He just dinks the ball in. They're trying to walk the ball in. Someone needs to pull the trigger at some point, and Johnny Dyer gets fallen as Ben Edwards is judged to have used his body a little bit too much, I think, and it's I think it's Parcell on the far side who just got nudged off that ball, and so it's going to be an opportunity to get the ball clear for Bideford. Hopefully Oliver will make a little bit more ground with this clearance, as the wind doesn't seem to be dying. It's staying dry at the moment. You can see the big bridge across the A39 in the distance there, can't you, Mick?
Yes, that's where we spotted the ground as we came in.
And we're waiting for Oliver. Left-footed, strikes the ball up in the air. It's got out of our sight, but it's held up, and the referee nearly fell over then. Helped on its way by Tom Moran, but it's well over here, and Oliver's going to watch this out. Waste a little bit more time as he holds the ball, picks the ball up, and lets Scott Harris just come and shut him down. And there's a few heads down at the moment for Slough, isn't there?
Yes, there are.
And Oliver's left-footed, going to look to take the ball forward. Lets it bounce once, fires it up in the direction of Squire, but it's fallen to Reshock, who's strong, powerful headers up in the air, repelled there well by Vallis in the back. He's been dominant back there. He's been very strong in the air this first half. Well partnered at the back by Harrison, but on the far side at the moment, Slough just inside the Bideford half. Fire the ball long again. Adam Martin interplays with Ed Smith. Ed Smith throws away his hands in frustration. He's got a short sleeve shirt on, no undershirt, but gloves. I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyway, Tom Moran in the middle of the pitch, direct forward. The only thing it's at risk at is catching the wind and bouncing over Oliver. As there's a bit of smash and grab there between Harrison and Harris on the edge of the box. But it's all a bit underwhelming at the moment.
Yes, it is a little bit, unfortunately.
And I think the main thing for Bideford at the moment is they'll be extremely happy as Hollis has gone down injured, and Hollis has hurt his ankle.
It's a head injury.
And there seems to be all sorts of fighting going on, and Guy Hollis has really hurt himself. It looks like he's in a lot of agony and a lot of pain of how he landed on his ankle.
I thought it was his head.
No, it wasn't. It was his ankle.
His ankle. He's holding it.
His ankle.
He's holding the wrong part of his body then. I thought they clashed heads there.
Oh, we'll see.
We'll soon find out now.
Yeah, no, he's treating his head.
Yeah, I knew I was right. I knew I was right there. I think the referee should have stopped that. You could see from the way he went down that was it was worth stopping the game straight away. Just a clash of heads. It was totally accidental.
He's putting water on his ankle. It is his ankle. It's his left ankle that he seems to put. As the Slough players use it as an opportunity to get some fluid on board.
I'll let you off.
Well, you let me off because I was right. But anyway.
I think they want some soup. Never mind cold water.
But lots of effort and endeavour from Slough, but they're just not quite clinical. They're not making some of these pressure and some of these situations count. It's all a little bit too Route 1, and the conditions aren't helping the favour. As I can see Billy Jeffries down on the near touchline getting stripped and warmed up, as Guy Hollis still sat on the pitch, as Johnny Dyer, Scott Harris, Tom Moran, Adam Martin, Ed Smith, all having words with John Underwood and Neil Baker just round there, just getting told what should happen and what should do as Parsons comes over as tall. Guy Hollis is sounding Bideford equally, just Tucker having a few words of advice here, just having a few drinks. Be interesting to see who this break favours as we're going into the final 10 minutes of this first half, and it's been an interesting first half. Plenty of chances, but just not that clinical effort on goal for Slough.
No, not the finish that we need. I think this could be a substitution.
Yeah, it does look like Hollis isn't doing very well. He's got up very gingerly and slowly. Kevin's given the hold-on signal, so he's just going to see how he gets on. And especially with it being 10 minutes to half-time, you might risk it, just let him come. But he's certainly not walking very quickly or very smoothly. At the moment, you're going to fancy Tom Moran going back into cover immediately to slot in alongside Reshock until further action. So Slough temporarily down to 10 players. Tucker on the near side, just getting a few final words of advice.
He's shaking his head. His guy, he's not going to be able to continue.
And on comes Tom Moran. On comes Billy Jeffrey. Billy Jeffrey, wearing number 12, will come on and play centre-back, direct replacement there for the injured Guy Hollis, who looks like he's injured his ankle in the 37th minute.
Not his head.
Not his head.
Not his head.
With lots of games coming up, let's hope it isn't too serious. So on comes Billy Jeffrey, who it's his birthday today, so it's a nice birthday for Billy Jeffrey. He was on the bench.
Score.
He came a long way. He was on the bench, which probably wasn't his greatest news, but now he's on the pitch after 37 minutes. Ball flashed in towards the near post. It's bouncing around in the Slough box, and it's a turn shot from Squire, but it was blocked, hooked away by Adam Martin, and immediately Tom Moran tries to get onto it, but it's well intercepted there by Barker. Barker plays it all the way back to his fellow fullback Sampson, helps the ball upfield, and Groves tried to get on it, but Adam Martin has a touch, hooks the ball forward. Now Ed Smith's going to motor in. Ed Smith's got an opportunity here. The keeper's coming. Oliver's going to get there, and Oliver just takes it through off the feet of Ed Smith. On a normal day, you'd have fancied Ed Smith to get that, but the wind just took it away from him.
And that was good anticipation by the keeper as well. He set off early, he knew it was coming. If he hadn't have done, I think Ed was in there. So good goalkeeping, give credit where it's due there.
As the clearance goes long, it's going to be a throw into Bideford, in line just inside the Slough half, in line with the dugout. It's going to be Wood to take it as we go into the final 6 or 7 minutes of this first half, plus a little bit of injury time for that Hollis trick. The wind hasn't really abated, and
Fella's hats come off again.
The man's hat's come off again just down near that area.
And it went in a puddle.
And it's gone in a puddle. Oh, that's Johnny Dyer working hard on this near side, tries to keep the ball in play, but doesn't manage it, and it's going to be a throw now for Barker.
He's got less hair than me.
Barker up to Wood. Wood getting buffeted by Fraser, and he just walks the ball out of play there. He's not very happy, so he takes the ball away, just flicks the ball away a little bit, and a bit of gamesmanship there from Wood, who seems quite happy to do it. And long show from Fraser. The Locals aren't happy, and flicked on by Johnny Dyer now forward, and up goes Sampson, and Neil Baker's not at all happy with that, and he saw that there was no advantage there, and it's a free kick, because Sampson definitely went across him deliberately. He wasn't going anywhere near the ball, and he obstructed him, and he pulled him back. According to the referee, Mr. Russell was a bit held down, a bit pushing and shoving going on. Billy's asking where his cake is for his birthday, and Billy's getting straight involved. You can hear the hail or rain coming down. It's a nice thing, and the referee's just trying to calm things down, but the end result is that Slough are going to have a free kick 30 yards from goal. And
I think that's hail. It's bouncing down on the roof.
It's not terribly white. And just having a word with Sampson there is Mr. Russell, because he did seem to come right across and cut across Johnny Dyer without much effort of playing the ball as it went past.
Well, he'd no reason to do that, because there was another defender there as well.
And it seemed a bit odd, because there was another covering defender, and still a bit of pushing and shoving there going on a little bit further away from Squire and Parsons. Parsons trying to nick not only 5 yards, but nick about 15 yards. He's finally going to put the ball on the spot, and I don't think that was anywhere near it. That's at least 10 or 15 yards closer to the goal than the incident happened.
Yeah, we should have the spray. We should have the foam, shouldn't we?
But it's going to be an effort, and I think Parson might fancy this as a three-man Bideford wall, which is about 6 yards away at the moment. It's now taken across. They're all getting told to go a little bit further in towards the goalkeeper. Plenty of line-up, so this is going to be a chance of Slough. Far post. It's whipped in towards the far post. It's overhit. The referee's assistant linesman's flags up straight away, and Parsons isn't at all happy about exactly what's going on. And now there's even more chat going on, and Squire's over there now on the far side, being talked to by the referee. Oliver's hurt himself somehow, and Oliver's asking for some treatment, and the
Reece York clattered into him, to be fair.
And he's been told that he can receive treatment as there was just some indication there from the bench to stay down. You saw a gentle, which perhaps he thought was a little bit subtle, but you're just ushering to say, stay down. We've got 4 or 5 minutes. Let's disrupt this flow at the moment. And up there, Billy Jeffries is just having a chat with Mark Russell on the far side, the referee, just to talk about how he may be refereeing this game and what Billy Jeffries thought from the sidelines. And perhaps he just tell him it's his birthday and what he got. We're not quite sure. I
don't think the referee sent him a card. Let's be fair on that one.
He's saying no more. I think.
Yes, he's definitely saying no more, and I think Billy's got to be very careful. He's not been on that long, and I think the referee's got his eye on him now. Jeffries goes back into the back 4.
Latest score: St Neots 1, Banbury United 1. Hilliard's got the equaliser there for St Neots. Midway towards the end of the first half, Oliver has made a miraculous recovery, and he's going to fire the ball long.
Everybody's coming over to this near side because of the wind.
As the sun's just slightly coming out, and that kick was certainly a lot better up towards the halfway line. And York was just giving Tucker a little bit of a shove, played forward by Parsons. Harris was just using his body in there in the middle of the pitch up against, I think it was Harrison in there. But it's all a bit stop-start at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it is a little bit. It's a very bitty game.
As we go into the final few minutes of this first half, the score still remains Bideford 1, Slough 0. Bideford taking the lead very early on in the first minute. A goal from their recent signing Tucker from Barnstaple, and since that point Slough have tried to use the wind to their advantage, but it hasn't come through as Billy Jeffries comes forward, headed on by Ed Martin, and then Scott Harris is after it and tries to flick the ball on, and it's a throw-in just inside the Bideford half, which they're not in any rush to particularly take.
But if we haven't been able to use the wind first half, maybe Bideford can't use it either second half. Maybe they'll be as bad.
I think there needs to be a different game plan, I would think, for Slough. They're going to certainly have a few words. As Tom Moran in the middle of midfield tries to win the ball back. Ben Edwards plays a long ball forward, and they're going to have the opportunity to box Bideford in back down there. It's going to be deep inside their own left quarter, which Barker's going to have the throw. Slough management team look frustrated here. The Slough fans on the far right side haven't had much to cheer in this first half. The Bideford fans, I think, are just mostly cold.
Yeah.
As the wind is whistling through North Devon this afternoon in this Southern Premier League games. Bideford 1, Slough Town 0. We've played almost 44 minutes. Just waiting for Barker to get the game back underway, down in front of us. He fires a long ball. won by Tom Moran, helped on its way by Fraser, and it's in the direction of Scott Harris. Scott Harris hooks the ball on to Ed Smith. Ed Smith into Johnny Dyer, but it's held up and then hooked away by Sampson. And further away there by Wood, and Wood flicking it on to Tucker. Tucker to Wood, play a nice one too, but it's a Reshawk, simple ball across. And Squire looks like he might have just hurt himself. He's gone down slightly on the halfway line, and he's just feeling his right ankle slightly. Long ball forward from Parsons. Slough still trying to apply a little bit of pressure deep in this first half. Veal takes a slightly heavy touch, plays it off Moran, wins the throw, and we're into the final minute of the 45.
And that's the throw-in on the far side, just in front of the travelling Slough support. Looks to be about 50 of them.
Yeah, there's a decent number come down. I know there was a coach came down. There seemed to be a reasonable other amount that have been there.
27 on the coach. 27 on the coach, I was told.
27 on the coach, and then
I didn't count them.
No, you didn't count them as balls. Once again, playing a lap in the air, and Ed Smith through, but it's going to go all the way through to Oliver again. He's on the edge of his box, wins the ball off the toes of Ed Smith, and that's kind of familiar. It'll be all changed in the second half, but Oliver's with the ball in his hands. Plays the ball long out towards his right, but it's only found Ryan Parsons. Ryan Parsons with Ben Edwards ahead of him decides to go simple short to Adam Martin. Adam Martin overruns it slightly, plays it off his Bideford opponent, but gives the ball away, and it looks like it's going to be Groves on the right side trying to bring the ball forward. Plays a short ball in and out there further right, and it's Veal on that far right hand side looking to whip the ball in, and he's whipped it in towards Squire. Squire's flicked it on. Wood, it's off Wood. It's edge of the box, and it's Tucker. Tucker left foot strike, blocked by Billy Jeffries. Right foot off Groves, and it's given a penalty. There's a penalty, so it seemed to hit the hand of Billy Jeffries as he's put his arms up, and he rose his arms up, and in the last minute of the first half, Billy Jeffrey could be in trouble. His birthday's going terribly so far. He drove all the way down there, he didn't start, and now he's conceded a penalty, which might put Slough 2 down on the brink of half-time.
And he's going in the book. I think it was right. I think his arms were too high. He was trying to protect his face, but I think his hands went up too high.
And he has been booked in the 45th minute, and this could be a crucial moment in the game. Billy Jeffries, only been on the pitch less than 10 minutes, has now conceded a penalty for handling the ball in the area. The biggest concern for Slough, though, is it's going to be Groves against Williams. Groves pops it past Williams, gives Biddy a 2-0 lead, and Biddy have snatched a second goal from somewhere, and Slough look deflated.
Yeah, I think set pieces might well play a big part in the second half on this one. I mean, we had a lot of chances with the long throw-ins going in, and I think that might well be the case in the second half of Bideford. If they can master that on this side, as Slough were doing, we might be in a lot of trouble in the second half. We've really got the Bakerslanders have got the work cut out.
Plenty of strong words out there amongst some of the Slough players you can see in their purple shirts. Ben Edwards just bending over, looks like he's feeling his back slightly as the rain starts again. Slough heads down at the moment. They need something to happen as Guy Hollis really limps very slowly across in front of us. George Short, you can see on looking to go with him as Slough trying to get something desperately in the end of the first half. It's a throw deep inside. They've no longer got that Hollis long throw to use as a weapon, which they had in the first half. Sean Fraser just being told to get back as they try to nick about 15 yards there. Fraser now fires it into the feet of Scott Harris, has it short, gives it back to Fraser. Fraser inside to Harris. Harris back to Ben Edwards. Ben Edwards inside to Tom Moran. This is better football from Slough. Crossfield to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer on his chest. Out to left back Ryan Parsons. Tom Moran showing. Slough need to do something with this ball. They're playing pretty, but they're playing sideways at the moment as it's to Ben Edwards. Ben Edwards inside to, once again, Johnny Dyer, who's moved well. Johnny Dyer flicking and dancing on the edge of the box. Tries to play an impossible ball through, and it's cleared away by Bideford. And Billy Jeffries comes a long way from the back and looks for a free kick. It's one-on-one at the back, and Yorkie deals with it well, launches the ball forward, and Slough are after it. Johnny Dyer's after it, tries to hit the ball forward. Ed Smith, edge of the box, facing towards his own goal. And Adam Martin chopped down. That was a nasty tackle there, I'd say. And this is an opportunity, perhaps for someone like Adam Martin. His passer went in with a heavy tackle there. Deep into injury time. We've played 48 minutes here at the sports ground. It is Bideford 2, Slough Town 0.
Yes, this would be an ideal opportunity to get one back. Free kicks on the far side, just outside the box, near the edge of the box. We've got a very, very good chance here.
And you can already see Jake Parsons and James Dobson warming up down here on the edge of the pitch for Slough. You feel that both of them might have a chance in this game because the 11 that are out there at the moment haven't done it. As Billy Jeffries makes his way forward, it's Johnny Dyer stood over it. He looks favourite to do this. And they're trying to just make sure it's Adam Martin looks to be stood next to him, so he might poke it sideways to Adam Martin, we're going to see. Or is it going to be a Johnny Dyer shot? Adam Martin just stood away to his left-hand side. Billy Tucker, though, has gone and done the good thing of standing next to him. Final moments of this first half. Slid in by Johnny Dyer, straight into the arms of Steve Oliver. And Steve Oliver's done the basic thing. Mr. Mark Russell, the referee, has one final look at his watch. Has he seen enough?
Very poor free kick was that, straight at the keeper.
And it could well be the half-time whistle any second. That's going to be greeted by rapturous noise in this first half. But we continue to play. We're in the 50th minute of this first half. Fraser helps the ball on his way up to Adam Martin. Adam Martin jumping against Puzzle in the middle. It's plenty of battle out there, and Harris helps the ball on his line. Well, good communication there between Harrison and Oliver, and Harrison did the right thing, hooked the ball away. Fraser, quick to try and take this throw in, as we must be in the dying stages of this first half. Fired in towards the near post. It's bounced around. It's helped on its way by Tom Moran. It's all the way across the edge of the goal. Just needed a poke by Ed Smith. And that is half-time. It is Bideford 2, Slough Town 0. And I don't know if that's a real fair reflective score, but it's certainly Slough haven't been concise or, really clinical, have they?
No, they haven't. They've not used the conditions well, but that was, if Ed had his wits about him there, he could have just toe poked that one in, because it didn't miss by much, to be fair. He'd only needed a little flick and we could have had a goal back. But conditions have played a great big part in this first half. They'll play another big part in the second half. We need a plan B, because plan A hasn't worked. And I think Bideford need a plan B as well, because their plan A hasn't gone very well, even though they've scored 2 goals. First one was poor defending because we were asleep in the first minute, and the second one was a penalty, probably against the run of play.
But the big thing is, Mick, that it's they're going to be playing into the tough conditions in this second half. So we'll leave you with an interview I did earlier in the week with Neil Baker after reflecting on the Poole defeat at the weekend. Hopefully, when I next speak to the management team, they won't be reflecting on another defeat. But join us in the second half to see how the Rebels come back, and we will speak to you all soon.
For us there, and obviously you added Warren Harris as well, so it is an excuse, I guess, but for us to be able to compete at that level, we need especially against those sides, we need a strong squad, and I felt that we were probably lacking in that yesterday.
So are there any specific measures you're going to take after that? Obviously you said you underperformed Poole, you didn't necessarily challenge, they didn't really have to come out of second, third gear, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't, and to be honest, we're not going to. Our season isn't defined by how we do against Poole Town. For me, they will win the league. I know that they've sort of had a bit of a wobble recently, but you can see why they're so good. They've got some very good players, and they're just so strong defensively. They just don't give you a chance. And we sort of said that to the front boys today. You might be sort of working on scraps today, and they were. But yeah, it's one of those days you just have to put it behind you and look to go against Bideford. I think there's a few people that sort of mentioned, could we not bring more players in and things like that. The problem you have is we were going into yesterday's game with Ryan, Ben and Searsy, and they were all sort of 50-50, and we were hoping 1, 2 or even 3 might be available, and in the end none of them were. And it's very difficult to sort of bring in players not knowing whether actually you're going to need them, and also you have budgets and whatever else, and I think also with loan players, and I know people have talked about loan players. I know Poole have a good relationship with Bournemouth, but the players that they bring in, they tend to bring in for the season. They're not sort of like your 1 month loans and things like that, and it's not how we want as a club, how we want to really sort of build our teams. We don't want to build a side with a loan player for a season and things like that. So, and the problem is if you are looking to bring a player in on loan, they want to, they want that player to play, and they want them to be there for a month, and it just becomes very, very difficult to manage in that respect. And I'm not saying that we won't do it, because we do have the links to be able to do it, but at times it's right and times it's not right. And I don't think when you've got 3 or 4 players that are maybe a week away from fitness, it's worth doing, if I'm honest.
So where does it leave you for the week ahead? Obviously a long trip down to the North Devon coast next weekend for a tough away fixture. Bideford have found a little bit of form themselves recently. What are you doing this week?
Yeah, we'll be training hard, and we'll be working on going to Bideford to get 3 points. As you say, they've picked up quite a bit recently. They've had some good results, and it's a tough journey. It's one of our longest journeys. Obviously, other than the Truro game, it's the longest journey in the league, in this league. So we'll train this week. We'll get the coach down to Bideford on Saturday morning, and we'll go and give it a good go. As I say, hopefully we should have Ben Edwards, Ryan Parsons, and Adrian Sear all fit and available, ready for ready to come back into the squad. And then all of a sudden, you start to have a few more options, and you start to feel a little bit stronger. As I say, we looked at the bench yesterday, and it is, it's difficult, because we had one or two on there that were sitting there that were probably injured, and it is what it is at the moment, and we just have to try and deal with it and sort of move on from there, really.
And I take it it's all part of the learning process of stepping up into the league. People are talking about mid-table versus potentially trying to push for playoffs and those sorts of things. Where do you feel you are right now?
Well, I mean, we're still adapting. We're still adapting as a side. It's a tough league. We've just come off the back of 8 games where we've lost twice, and within those 8 games we've played St Neots, Hungerford, Chesham, Weymouth, Poole. 5 of the top sides in the league, and we've lost 2 of those 8 games, and so we're not a million miles off it. We are going to have days like we did yesterday whereby things don't quite go right for us, and we have to learn from those and sort of learn to deal with it going forward, and readiness for next season. And listen, we're going to try and finish as high as we can. I think the playoffs is probably too far away, but listen, we'll still keep working. We'll still put in the same amount of effort we do every week, and sometimes it'll be enough, sometimes it won't. But you've got to remember, we're a side that got promoted from the playoffs. We finished 5th in the Southern Central last year. It's not like we won the league at a canter or anything like that. We managed to sneak in through the back door and got ourselves promoted. And at the moment, we're holding our own in the level above, and we'll continue to do so. And I'm sure we'll just keep improving. And if that means we have to look to next season to try and get into the playoffs, then so be it. But at the moment, we're just adapting, and we'll see where we go.
Well, thank you very much for your time on your busy Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to hearing more and following you on your journey next week down to Bideford.
Lovely. Cheers, John.
Cheers then. Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough Joint Manager Neil Baker. We're referring to today's defeat 4-0 at home to Poole. What are your thoughts, Neil?
Yeah, disappointing day really. We went at the races, especially first half. We were disappointed. Listen, we've got to take nothing away from Poole. Poole have been the best side that we've come across all season. They were strong, they were professional, they passed the ball well, they worked hard, and they looked a threat, every time they went forward. What I felt disappointed by was how easy we gave the ball back to them. Our ball retention was pretty poor throughout the first 45 minutes especially. We sort of said that the lads were rushing and giving the ball back to Poole, and they were hurting us, and we just didn't really ever settle. I think after the first 5-10 minutes, myself and Anders sort of said we hadn't settled, and we'd sort of hoped that we'd sort of grow into the game, but we just didn't do that. And two poor goals from our point of view. The first one, we'd obviously given Tom Moran a job of sitting on the number 10, Brooks, and unfortunately he lost his man, and he ended up scoring the goal. And then the second, I believe, was obviously Guy got caught, and the lad got inside him. In reality, he probably should have taken him down and taken a booking. But that's obviously hindsight. And yeah, so to go two goals down, we sort of defended relatively poorly, and then obviously the third was a killer right on the stroke of half time. We're led to believe, obviously we'll wait to see the video and whether or not that sort of shows up, but by all accounts everyone was saying it was outside the box, and to be honest, we didn't even think it was going to be a penalty. If I'm honest, Guy's quite an intelligent footballer, and we felt that if he was going to be bringing the lad down, then then he would have done it outside the box. You know, I don't think he would have made that sloppy tackle in the box. So as far as we're concerned, it was probably outside the box. And you know, I spoke to the referee at half time, and you know, his view was that he caught him in the box. So we'll see on the video, but you know, that masks a poor first 45 minutes from us. I felt, you know, Johnny Dyer was probably the only one who worked, you know, really hard in the first half. We hadn't had a lot of joy, but you know, he put in good effort. And you know, at 3-0, the game's done. You know, you only have to look at the fact that they've only conceded 15 goals all season, which is an absolutely incredible record. And you can see why. We said at half time, you've just got to try and go out there and try and compete and not go the other way and do what we did against Redditch and lose, you know, 6 or 7. And you know, we went out second half and we gave it a bit of a go, but we didn't really cause them too many problems. And you know, they probably could have had a few more goals, if I'm honest. And you know, there was a big difference between the two sides yesterday, which was disappointing. I do believe that, you know, to compete with those sides, we need a full strength squad, and we weren't there. You know, we had 5 captains, you know, sitting out yesterday in Ryan Parsons, Jamie McClurg, Adrian Sear, Ben Edwards, and obviously Adam Fowler's not quite ready. So, you know, that's some big players missing for us there, and obviously you add in Warren Harris as well. So, you know, it is an excuse, I guess, but you know, for us to be able to compete at that level, you know, we need especially against those sides, we need a strong squad, and I felt that we were probably lacking in that yesterday.
So are there any specific measures you're going to take after that? Obviously you said you underperformed. Paul, you didn't necessarily challenge, they didn't really have to come out of second, third gear, did they?
Yeah, no, they didn't. And to be honest, you know, we're not going to, you know, our season isn't defined by how we do against Poole Town. You know, that for me, they will win the league. You know, I know that they've sort of had a bit of a wobble recently, but you can see why they're so good. You know, they've got some very good players, and they're just so strong defensively. They just don't give you a chance. And we sort of said that to the front boys today. You know, you might be sort of working on scraps today, and they were. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those days you just have to put it behind you and look to go against Bideford. I mean, I think there's a few people that sort of mentioned, oh, you know, could we not bring more players in and things like that. I mean, the problem you have is we were going into yesterday's game with Ryan, Ben and Searsy, and they were all sort of 50-50, and we were hoping 1, 2 or even 3 might be available, and in the end none of them were. And it's very difficult to sort of bring in players not knowing whether actually you're going to need them, and also, you know, you have budgets and whatever else, and I think also with loan players, I know people have talked about loan players. I know Paul have a good relationship with Bournemouth, but the players that they bring in, they tend to bring in for the season. You know, they're not sort of like your 1-month loans and things like that, and it's not how we want as a club, how we want to really, you know, sort of build our teams. You know, we don't want to build a side with a loan player for a season.
Welcome back to live second half commentary from the sports ground, where Slough trail 2-0. Both teams are now out on the pitch. We're just waiting for the referee, Mr. Mark Russell, and his team as he starts to run and make his way out. We've had a break, everyone's fully recovered. It's just as cold as it was in the first half. The referee's assistant's just going away, checking the goals to our right hand side. The big news, Bideford 2 goals up at home to Slough, and in this second half, critically, on a windy, dry, blustery day, they've got the wind behind them, and they've scored after barely 13-15 seconds. Young Billy Tucker played the balls quickly and simply under Williams as he was given a kind of uncontested path through to goal.
Yes, he was.
And then on the stroke of half time in the 46th, 47th minute, a shot was blocked in the area. Billy Jeffries, birthday boy today, came on after 37 minutes for the injured Guy Hollis, long throw taker extraordinaire in the first half, and he had his arms above his face, and unfortunately referee saw it, awarded a penalty which was duly dispatched by Groves, and Slough trail 2-0, and they're going to have to work very hard to get back into this game, Mick.
They are, and that wasn't a great start, headed straight out of play there.
So Slough in this first half shooting from right to left into the wind, wearing their purple MyFC kits. The home team, the Robins, Bideford, all red, shooting from left to right. Their goalkeeper, Steve Oliver, away to our left-hand side in goal. We then have number 2, Ian Sampson, 3, Nick Barker, 4, Craig Veal, 5, Darren Dan Harrison. 6, Matt Villis. 7, captain Richard Groves, scored with a penalty. 8, Mickey Parcell. 9, Kevin Squire. 10, and goal scorer Billy Tucker, and 11, Ben Wood. And on the bench, 12, Danny Tapp. 14, Darren Newey Ring. 15, Stephen Reid. And 16, Nick Milton. 17, George Swain, goalkeeper. For the Rebels, the team a little bit changed from the team that lost at home 4-0 to Poole. In goal number 1, Luke Fraser. In goal number 1, Luke Williams. 2, Sean Fraser. 3, Ryan Parsons. 5, Rhys Shawk. 6, Ben Edwards. 7, Johnny Dyer. 8, Adam Martin. 9, Scott Harris. 10, Ed Smith. And 11, Tom Moran. And Billy Jeffries replaced Guy Hollis, who had an injury to his left ankle after about 37 minutes or so. So he's the only substitute so far, and he is also the only player to have been booked, I believe, in the first half, Mick.
Yes, he is, and I think fully deserved. The referee had marked him out anyway because he was having a chip earlier on, the referee, and the referee gave him a really good talking to, but I think he deserved a caution simply for the handball. It was a cautionable offence, so you're not missing anything out on the pitch. The ball's played through long. Both teams now adapting to the new wind conditions that they face in this second half. Both teams seem to be lining up, certainly Bideford's are lining up with a 4-4-2 formation with Squires and Tucker up front. First clearance there from Williams wasn't great at all, held up in the wind, and young Luke Williams, who's been down here once before this season, looking to make his clearances count a little bit more. He's going to perhaps try and drive this one a little bit lower, but it's again held up in the wind. Adam Martin tries to win it, as does Johnny Dyer. Comes back, played out to Tom Moran. Tom Moran helps it to Ryan Parsons. Ryan Parsons smashes it off the head of Veal down in front of us. Right-footed, hooks the ball forward now. Ed Smith underneath it. Seemed to get jumped through the back of there by Matt Vallis, but Slough just trying to get a foothold in the game as Fraser keeps the ball low, plays it up the line to captain Ben Edwards. Ben Edwards back to Fraser. Fraser along the feet to the feet of Harris. Harris with a nice turning touch. Gets a little bit lucky off to Fraser, and Barker puts it out for an attacking Slough throw on that far time. There's 4 Slough flags out on that far right hand side, and a nice couple of recent Bideford flags. I hear they're quite new, over with the colours of Devon across one in the right side, and Squire chasing a thankless task upfield in the direction of Luke Williams, but Bideford coming away with the ball again, and now it's coming down the right hand side with Veal on the ball. First time pass in the direction of Tucker, but he's gone to try and win it back off Tom Moran. Tom Moran does well, plays it up to Johnny Dyer on the centre spot. Tried to thread a ball through to both Ed Smith and Scott Harris. It doesn't come off, and Bideford going to have the opportunity to clear their lines. Yeah, they're keeping it down a little bit more this second half, and I think that's got to be the way to do it. But we've got to get a foothold. As
they've given the ball away softly, Groves from the edge of the box, wild slash shot, and it's split all the people who are just making their way slowly out of the bar, just staggering round to the ground on the far side as the light's just starting to fade. It's going to be a little bit lighter down here. We're that bit further west, aren't we? The sun is going to set that a little bit later.
Yeah, they're quite tall floodlights. I don't know where they must have got them from. They might have got them from an ex-League Club Exeter or somewhere. But they reckon that they're end of their life and they need £25,000 to replace them, but they'll certainly be in use before the end of the game.
From that goal kick from Williams, there's a certain degree of a lack of kind of composure there, as all players kind of stopped and let the ball bounce, didn't they? They didn't really deal with it.
No.
And it then gave an opportunity for Bideford to, with the wind, attack, and it's a long throw from Sampson down in front of us to Parsons. Parsons hooks the ball forward, and it's then repelled by Groves and will box Slough in into the far right hand corner, and they're going to be looking to hold the ball up, but Parsons going to be looking to throw the ball in. Parsons throws the ball up into the feet of Adam Martin, who finds himself a little bit of space. Good bit of class there shown, and fires it away to Ben Edwards, who's having a run down the left hand side, tries to chip a ball through to Ed Smith. Ed Smith's little touch doesn't quite come off. Harrison clears it away, but only as far as the halfway line towards Tucker, and Tucker does well, holds off Tom Moran, gets the ball back off Barker, middle of the pitch, just flicks himself around, and he's doing well. He's deceptive there with his pace, and he's like a little Messi there on the far side. He's driving down towards the far side. Good strong tackle coming in there by Fraser, and Fraser feels that he didn't get the last touch. He didn't make a super effort to keep it in, and it's a corner to Bideford. We're in the 50th minute. And Bideford have a chance to get on the score. Some half times. RC Poole was postponed. Bideford 2, Slough 0, obviously. Cambridge postponed against Frome. Chesham 0, Cirencester 2. Chippenham 0, Dunstable 0. Hungerford 2, Dorchester 1. Poulton 1, Corby 1. Redditch Hitchin postponed. St Neots 1, Banbury 1. Truro 2, Burnham 1. And finally Weymouth 1, Histon 0. So
chance for Weymouth to
go top again.
Put the pressure on again, isn't it?
Yeah, but then they'll have played 2 games more. So
yeah.
It's
Poole have got to be favourites, haven't they?
Yeah, and Poole's particular recent form and their lack of goals conceded is quite phenomenal. As we wait Groves to take the corner from the far side, whipped, and it's certainly got a lot of air on it, and it's over the far side all the way to Wood. Wood going to struggle to keep it in. He does well. He's almost in the corner quadrant on the opposite side. Curls the ball in towards the edge of the box. Johnny Dyer there hooks the ball away into the wind. It's held up slightly, and through from the back comes Barker. Helps the ball into the box, but hooked away by Parsons. Back in by Bideford, but Tucker was coming back from an offside position, and they're looking to try and get the game going quickly as we played 6 minutes the second half. Score remains unchanged. Bideford 2, Slough 0. And Mick, what are your thoughts?
We're not getting to the second ball. Everything, when we're clearing it, it's dropping to Bideford players. They're not making the most of it, but we're not giving ourselves a chance of getting to that second ball. We need to do that.
Building now forward with the ball from Parsons, headed on well by Ed Smith, looking to get Fraser on his way. He's up against Wood on that far side, inside to Tom Moran. There's not a lot of support. He plays a long crossfield ball, asking a little bit of Ryan Parsons as he controls the ball well. Left-footed, he's going to look to fire it into the box. He misplaces it terribly, and it's given away to Groves, who's becoming more influential in this game, and his pass is wasteful to say the least. Gets a few howls of derision from the locals around us. And Williams is a long way from goal, and he's driven the ball forward, headed away by Sampson. Headed on by Martin. Ed Smith with a little bit of time. Sampson up against him, tries to flick it over and gets caught by Sampson. Ed Smith goes to ground quite theatrically, then leaves a foot in, and he's in danger of letting his frustration get the better of him there. He's at danger of getting that red mist come down, isn't he?
Yes, he was. He was very lucky there. The Bideford player did well to clear the ball and get out of the way.
As Billy Jeffries just went through on a strong tackle there with Tucker, and both players fully committed, kind of left a bit on one another, but nothing doing there for the referee, Mr. Mark Russell, who I don't think has had a bad game in the first half.
No, he spotted the penalty well. He took Jeffries' name when he needed to. He's spoken to players when he needed to.
But Rhys York has headed that away, but no Slough players around that at all, so Bideford quite happy to let that ball roll out as Veal lets it slip underneath him, and now John Underwood's trying to get things going out there, trying to clap his encouragement as right back Sampson, not in any hurry at all to get on with this game. Takes a few steps, nicks a few yards, throws it down the line, headed on by Squire. Tucker heads the ball, keeps it in against York, but he does himself more than anyone else, and throws the ball out, and he might have some mud in his eye or something like that. He's gone down on the near side. He's headed it back. Martin's flicked the ball on, and now it's going to be dealt with. But Scott Harris closes it down, and he tries to get a foot in there. It's all a bit harum scarum there, but finally Harrison puts a foot through, and on the near side, Billy Tucker just trying to get some mud out of his eyes, as Williams goes a long way from goal down the right side, shut down by Squires, fires the ball in field. Luckily finds Ben Edwards, who's helping the ball out right to Fraser, halfway line. Slough trying to build and play a little bit more football. They're a bit more composed in this first half. Having said that, Billy Jeffries just launches a long ball forward. Harrison acrobatically tries to like Veal plays very direct ball all the way through, and Tucker's never going to get after that. I think if anyone's seen in the first half that how the wind carries the ball, I think they're a little bit overexcited there if they see it. Particularly Tucker doesn't seem the quickest. He seems really gifted on the ball, but Slough playing with it at the back, and they shouldn't be doing that in this weather. It's not where you want to play the ball.
No, they've not learnt the lesson, have they? They're pumping the ball forward like Slough did, and they're 30 yards in front of the the nearest forward. It's not productive for them.
Rhys York chips the ball forward. Scott Harris as well to hold it up, and Adam Martin's got the balls in front of him. Great ball through to Johnny Dyer. Great chance for Slough, but great hand there from Oliver. Oliver now hasn't fully saved it. He's still down on the ground. They've tried to square it, but the danger's averted. Johnny Dyer perhaps should have done a little bit better there. He's got the ball back though, and Adam Martin's running fast into the box. He's going to look to cross it left-footed. It hits the hand of Veal. No doing. Johnny Dyer slices it wide. It's going to go all the way across to Fraser. Fraser back in the goal, and it's hooked out finally by Wood. But that was very harum-scarum, and Veal a little bit lucky there potentially. It was similar. He had his hands outside his body, and it was similar in the first half. He had his hands out quite wide, didn't he?
It was, but I think he was a little bit close, and he was on the ground. I think that's probably a fair decision. But we could easily got an equaliser there.
I think the Slough management team may have a different opinion on that.
I think
having conceded a penalty for similar, they may have wanted that. But Slough pressing a little bit as Fraser tries to fire a ball in. Johnny Dyer dives, and it's headed in, and well picked up by by Oliver, off his toes, and that was a great save. 55 minutes gone here, Slough knocking on the door a little bit, but Oliver 2 saves in the space of a minute to keep the deficit as 2.
That was a good save. It was straight down in front of him. He got it at the second attempt as well, so very, very good goalkeeping. But that's a little bit better for us at the moment.
And a poor header by birthday boy Billy Jeffries, who probably wishes he went back to bed at some point. Billy heads the ball out, and it's going to be an attacking throw in on this near side. Dobson just down in front of us, going through a few stretches. There's a little bit of activity on both benches. It looks as if Milton's going to be coming on for Bideford.
Yeah, it looks like we have got a sub.
Yeah, Milton's coming on. Milton's stripped and ready to go in a moment. Wood is just warming up. Wood is warming up and firing up for this long throw. Fires it in towards the near post. It's tried to be flicked on. It's bouncing around. Billy Jeffries bravely deals with that. Helped on its way, but not clear yet. Ben Edwards comes across. Seemed to just get caught there, and Ben Edwards not quite happy with that decision either. But
no,
because he did seem to get caught there by Veal, didn't he?
I thought he caught his ankle there, but we haven't got it. He didn't put up too much of a protest about it, to be fair to him.
Long throw again by Wood, who's over here. Helped on its way by Squire. Helped away by Ben Edwards, and it's going to be Barker from a long way from goal. Chips the ball in deep, and Squire's searching for it, but it's Tom Moran. Helps it on its way out to Johnny Dye, just inside his own half, left of centre to Ben Edwards. Fires the ball out right, and the referee gets in the way completely. And they're about to go away and think. And if Bideford score now, there'll be hell to pay from the Slough management team, as that was terrible positioning from the referee.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
He's trying to justify it, I think, he's a referee at the moment.
But he was right in the middle of the pitch, right where Slough were trying to spread and bring the ball out wide, and he was just completely in the way. First substitute of the afternoon though, 57 minutes gone, and it's going to be off-coming, I think Craig Veal maybe having a break, and ongoing number 16 Nick Milton. So Veal coming off. He's done the good sensible thing of all team players. He's made his way to the furthest point of the pitch that he probably can get away with before then slowly trudging off. But in the 57th minute, Bideford make their first change. On comes Milton. And he gets a reasonable hand from the locals. And so Milton will go on and replace him. Some fresh blood out there. Maybe a little bit of a change of formation as well, because he hasn't gone on to replace him in the same position, has he?
No, he hasn't.
He's gone to sit back.
He's gone right to the back, yeah.
Quite a tall, solid figure, you'd say. Long throw then, waiting for Wood. Right-hand edge of the box, in line with. Fires it in towards the near post. Parsons tries to get there. Held up well by Squire. Back to Wood. Wood on his wrong foot. Johnny Dye gives away the corner. And Bideford pressing, I would say, but without really creating.
Yeah, they are, but they have got a corner now. They can see what they can make of that. We've got to get it cleared. Once we've cleared it, we've got to get it to a Slough player. It seems just to go to Bideford players, and they're pushing it back in. They're not making the most of it at the moment, fortunately. But wherever we're clearing it, it's going to a red shirt, not a purple shirt.
So waiting for this in-swinging corner from Wood, right-hand side. He's got a lot of air under it. He's kicked it straight out. That was terrible. Terrible by Wood. He should have really accommodated the conditions. They're playing out there. They know what they're doing, and they've been out there long enough.
Well, you play that towards the edge of the 18-yard box
and let it drift in.
Swing in.
Yeah, let it drift in.
But he played it. He played about.
He played
7
it
or
as
8
if it was a
yards
still
out.
afternoon, which I'm sure it probably rarely is here at the sports ground. As a better kick there from Williams, got a bit of distance on that, but well repelled there by Milton, the substitute. He seems to have slotted in at the right back position, with Sampson now playing a more advanced role of right midfield. Slough through on goal, and Ed Smith through 1-on-1. He's passed it straight into the feet of Oliver, when it would have been easier to score, and that just sums up Slough's afternoon. They are not clinical. They're not at the races. In the 60th minute, another glorious chance, and Ed Smith wastes it.
Yeah, he could have picked his spot there, and he just played it basically straight at the keeper. It wasn't the world's greatest.
Slough need to make one of these chances count. They've had 6 or 7 good chances, both in the first half and this second half, and they haven't really, made it count. They've tested Oliver on a number of occasions, and Oliver's done well, but they haven't really done what they need to do.
It's been a poor game, but we have deserved something out of it so far.
And Martin battling away in that far right corner, tries to cross it in deep. It's crossed in deep. Johnny Dyer after it. He rises well, heads it inches wide of the left post. And once again, Bideford hanging on a little bit. Substitute for Slough, first substitute of the afternoon, and on comes James Dobson. It's going to be Tom Moran having a rest. So 61 minutes. James Dobson coming on, the left winger for Tom Moran.
Let's see if he can make a bit of difference with his fluorescent orange boots.
So yeah, Dobbo, who's recently been out of favour, hasn't been in the best of form, not like the scintillating form he was in earlier in this season, but he's going to have a run now instead of Tom Moran. So Slough just rolling the dice a little bit here. But Tom Moran did a reasonable effort there, didn't he? You can't really fault him in there. He was battling hard, he was playing hard.
Yeah. Just we hope Guy Hollis isn't driving home tonight.
No, he's been driven by his dad, I think, who stood down here in the brown. A free kick there awarded against Ben Edwards for a foul in the middle of midfield, and he's not very happy at all.
But neither are Bakes and Unders, and they're having to go at the lines from Unders.
And Unders has walked up to over past the halfway line, and they're being shouted out a lot to get in the box. As Guy Hollis is hobbling away painfully to the left-hand side, he doesn't look in a good way at all.
No.
And as he's ball's driven into the box, but not in any particular direction of any Bideford player at all. Wood does his best to keep the ball in, but doesn't manage it, and Williams is going to try and take a quick clearance here, because Slough under pressure. We've already played nearly 17 minutes of the second half, and it's Bideford 2 goals to the good as the lights just start to come into play a little bit. It's fading here in North Devon, helped on its way by Dobbo, but smashed straight up in the air, rather in a kind of agricultural fashion by Harrison. And Slough out on the defensive as it looks like Billy Jeffries in the middle of the midfield. Martin playing a more influential role, tries to play it in the channel there behind Harrison on the far side. Harrison defending, can't really do very much with it, slots it out in under those Slough flags on the far side. Another second substitution for Bideford, and on comes Reid coming on in the 62nd minute, and it's off is coming Wood, who's had a decent game, but he's run out of puff a little bit in these last 10 or 15 minutes, and so in the 62nd minute it's going to be Reid coming on.
And he's another one that's furthest away on the far side of the pitch as well, and he's not making much of an effort. There was something in the non-league paper last week about a substitute, a player that was being substituted, taking too long to get off the field.
15 is Reid. It's Reid going on for Wood. Just shoring things up, I think, a little bit.
And the guy that went off took far too long to go off. The substitute came on. The referee went across, sent off the player who'd originally gone off, and then the substitute that had come on, he had to go off as well. So
yeah, because these things happen though.
Well, they do. Serves you right when you're time wasting.
Slough have an attacking throw, taken short. Johnny Dyer, edge of the box, left footed, slashes it across. It's helped up in the air. Dobson flicks the ball on. It's flicked away, towards the edge of the box. Helped on its way immediately by substitute Reid, but into the box by Fraser. Ed Smith after it. It's bouncing around there. Shot in by Scott Harris. Blocked again. Good defending from Bideford, but only as far as Adam Martin. Slough really putting Bideford under a bit of pressure here. Down the line, plenty of space for Ben Edwards. Left footed, edge of the box. Get across in it. Bobbled just before he hit it. It's bounced across the goal. It's going to go to Fraser. It's come to Dyer. Dyer smashed it in, and it's all good and well, but Tucker's not going to get that. Tucker's not quick enough in this conditions, and well stepped over. Adam Martin becoming more influential. Crossfield ball, edge of the box. Scott Harris helped it towards Ben Edwards. It's hit about 10 people's hands there. It definitely hit Ben Edwards on the hand there, didn't it?
Yes, it did. But again, it bounced up and hit him.
Dobson, left-footed, tries to whip a ball in. It's perhaps too close to the keeper. It's pounched away, but not very far. Fraser, edge of the box. Fraser getting buffeted by Tucker. It is all hands to the deck as Bideford have almost got 9 players in the box, as now it's all the way back to Billy Jeffries. Helps the ball far side of the box, headed away by Sampson, headed on a little bit more by Parsons out left to Dobson. Dobson with a bit of time and space up against Sampson, whips a low ball in this time, defended at the far post, and finally Bideford managed to clear it long. It's a little bit ugly though, and they're under a bit of pressure. Considering they got the wind advantage, they're not making the most of it.
They're under a great deal of pressure at the moment.
And Dobson he's going to need wings to carry hold of that, but better play there from Slough. They just need to get something on the end of it, don't they?
It's much better. I think to be honest, we should be 2-0. We should really be 2-0. We should have taken our chances. Bideford, apart from the 2 that they've had, and Luke's had 1 save. I mean, Luke looks fairly clean. It's a muddy day. He's hardly had anything to do. We've certainly deserved a draw out of it, but we just haven't put the ball in the net yet. I think it'll come.
As the ball's bouncing around in the midfield, Johnny Dyer helps it back to Adam Martin on the halfway line. Up in the air, Sampson once again heads it. Bit of time for Ryan Parsons. The substitutes haven't quite bedded in yet for Bideford, and a ball down the channel which Scott Harris is after. Scott Harris flicks it around off the defender, and And Scott Harris is absolutely fuming at Mark Russell. He's absolutely fuming there. That Oliver just going through a groin stretch there, it looks like, and that certainly decision didn't go for Slough, did it?
You could tell from here it was a goal kick, to be fair. I don't know what he was getting. I mean, he's getting irate because we have got the pressure, and obviously we wanted a corner, but it was definitely a goal kick.
Ball played forward long. Headed up by Fraser, not away. Up again by Billy Jeffries. Now Squire getting it under control, but he's slow on it, and Adam Martin does well. Nicks it off him, and then another high ball. Scott Harris, blood pumping, plays it off to Johnny Dyer, plays it forward. Ed Smith was in a slightly offside position, and now Bideford have the opportunity to attack, but they're not keeping the ball well, are they? And it's Ryan Parsons having a run forward. Tucker after him. Now short to Dobson. Dobson infield, driven through to Johnny Dyer, flicked off to Scott Harris, but it's well dealt with there by Vallis, and Vallis just got clipped. Very soft decision, but and he's just kicked the ball away there as well. Vallis didn't do it, and so Jake Parsons runs to get the ball, and it says something about Bideford's confidence when they are time wasting to such a degree so early on.
Yeah,
from the moment they went 1-0 up, they were trying to look at the clock a little bit, and it's certainly evident that any small option for a bit of gamesmanship, which gamesmanship's allowed in this game. It's just it's up to the referee to manage it, and now Oliver's just taking his time, digging himself a little touch, and a few of the locals, even at 2-0, don't sound too happy.
No, they don't. I think they know they're under pressure.
We're halfway through the second half. It remains Bideford 2, Slough 0, and Tucker's on the attack, but a strong tackle coming in there from Martin. Tucker not strong enough in that position. Tries to hook a ball out to Johnny Dyer. He's got Barker behind him, trying to put a bit of pressure on him, and cuts back inside. Does well, looking for a ball. Chips a ball across. It's an impossible ball, but it's Sampson heading towards his own goal, and they collide awfully and give away a corner. That's terrible defending. Well, Sampson and Oliver just...
No communication.
Really clear communication.
No
with
communication
that.
At all between the pair of them.
The Slough management team just having a word with the referee's assistant on this near side, as George Short obviously not going to be involved. He's got himself changed again. Dobson with a left-footed corner, plenty of movement in and around the Slough box. It's towards the far post. Reshook free header, and it's great, palmed off the line by Oliver. What a great save that was from Oliver. And then there's a late tackle there, and it could be trouble here. It could be trouble here for Billy Jeffrey. Billy Jeffrey could be getting sent off on his birthday.
Yeah, that was quite a late challenge. I'm not sure the referee will do anything apart from have very strong words with him.
But
he's not going to his pocket just yet. No, he's not sending him off.
But that was a strong header there by Reshook in the 68th minute, and it was well saved there by Oliver.
Great save.
And I think Billy's just getting his last warning here, because he just left the foot in a little bit there on Sampson, I think it was.
Yeah. And I think that will be his last one. I think if he does anything else, it's going to be bye-byes.
Yeah, the locals...
He's got to calm down.
Locals aren't too happy about it. Slough now, it's used up another 30 or 90 seconds at the moment, but number 5, Reshook, great header there from that corner. Great target. Bit too close if you're anything critical to the keeper, yeah. But could easily have got a clawed Slough back into the game.
Yes, we could have done on that one. Again, it's more pressure that we're putting on them.
As finally Slough seemed to get a decision, as it was helped out there by Reid in the right back position, and it's going to be Parsons just inside his own half, looking to take the throw. Throws it down the line. Scott Harris seemed to be getting fouled there by Reid, but nothing doing, and Sampson plays it off the bum of Dobson. It's out in line with the dugout, and the referee not going to be on the Christmas card list of the Slough bench, is he? As it did seem that Scott Harris was getting manhandled there, somewhat, as Reshaw just had a header smashed straight into Oliver, helps the ball up his line, and then once again Reid seems to be fouling Harris there. Harris helps it on his way, and then Ed Smith and Harrison just have a little bit of afters there after the ball's gone. It'll be interesting. Keep an eye on that, Mick. There's a little. It's getting a little bit more tense out there.
Well, I'm not surprised. Bideford's defence is under a great deal of pressure. We've got
Dobson
to make
helps
it
on Scott Harris. Harris first time helps it on. It's chested away by Harrison, but it's all one-way traffic at the moment. It's almost like defence against attack. Like it's it is almost as if it's one of those training games, isn't it, where you hold everyone behind the goal, everyone behind the ball, and they go. So really short, coming into the left-back position, up towards the halfway line. Long ball lofted in the direction of James Dobson. Get grabbed by Reed. Reed's all over him, and he manages to fire a ball deep towards Ed Smith. Ed Smith chests it down, plays it out to Fraser. Fraser into the box. Johnny Dyer takes a touch. Back to Scott Harris. Scott Harris to Johnny Dyer. Out to Dobson. Dobson now going to fire it back into the box. Low. It's got to go in at some point. And it's off the post. And it's smashed in. But he's offside. He's offside. He's offside. It will never end as Ed Smith was in an offside position as the ball was smashed in.
Well,
that was another save by Oliver. Pushed onto the post. A disallowed goal. It is just not happening for Slough.
Just about sums it up. Came back off the post. Unfortunately, Ed was in an offside position. There was nothing else he could do, basically. There was nobody else near, and he put it in the back of the net. If he hadn't done, the keeper would have dropped on it. Whether it was offside is a different issue, but he certainly looked as though he could have been there.
So that was,
That's encouraging.
Well, it is encouraging, but something needs to happen sooner rather than later. As we're into this, we're 20 minutes remaining here at the sports ground. Bideford 2, Slough 1, but Bideford under an awful lot of pressure at the moment. They seem to be hanging on, don't they?
Yeah, we are getting to the second ball now, which we weren't doing in the first half. And passes are actually going to feet, and we are making something of them. I have a feeling we can get back into this.
But that goal away to the left-hand side is certainly leading a charmed life at the moment.
Yes, it is.
But Bideford trying to get back into this game now in this second half, as they haven't done a lot, as Reed's taken his time to get this under control. Agriculturally plays the highest ball forward today, and it's going to sail out as Parsons just defends it well, but he's good effort there from Sampson, but it was to no avail as he slipped and fell on his bottom, and it went out anyway for a goal kick.
Yeah,
but A for effort.
Now A for effort. Let's make the most of this. I think the wind's dropped a little bit, to be fair. Now
I'm wondering with these Truro fans, who are they backing here? As a they're backing apparently. I was just wondering where they're standing. It looked like they're standing over towards that crowd of Bideford fans, way to the right hand side, on the far side in the shelter, in front of Morrison's long throw down the line, helped on its way by Squire, but it's straight out, and Reshawk quickly going to go and get the ball. It's quite a wide perimeter around the edge of this.
Yeah,
around the edge of the pitch here.
Yes, it is. So it is a nice ground, very well situated.
So we have just under 20 minutes to remain. Bideford 2, Slough 0. Penalty to Poulton Rovers in another game in the division. Still 1-1 at St Neots in their game there against Banbury. So it's a penalty to Poulton at home to Corby. Dobson plays it, smashing it off Reed, and he's going to look to try and get it back. Final substitution. Johnny Dyer coming off. Jake Parsons going on. So in the 73rd minute, Johnny Dyer taking a breather. Jake Parsons going on. So now we've got two Parsons on the pitch, everyone's favourite.
Better than 3 Webbs we had the other night.
There was about 3, three Webbs when you play Parsons. Johnny Dyer's not a happy bunny. And Johnny Dyer letting the poor Bideford bench know what he thought of that as he's taken out. Ed Smith holding the ball up in the far corner, trying to take it towards the byline, fires it off. Helped Jake Parsons now. First touches of the game. Fires it back to Dobson. Dobson, I think that's too close to Oliver, but is Oliver going to catch it? He does. Oliver catches it quite well, but...
Yes, we needed to put some pressure on him there. We didn't. I think we were expecting the ball to bounce, to swirl back in the wind, and it didn't, so it was a very easy take for the keeper.
So Oliver kicks a high one gently, gets a lot of air in it. It's in the direction of Squire. Squire takes control of it. Back to Tucker. Tucker helps it on its way. Headed away by Ben Edwards. Falls to Sampson, edge of the box. And he slashed that wide, but better there. And James Dobson just inquiring with the bench as to exactly how they're signing up or lining up at the moment. What's that noise? Is it people banging their feet?
No, and everybody's come over this side again.
A ball fired long over the top of James Dobson. Poulton have gone 1-0 up against Corby. So Poulton lead 1-0 against Corby in another game here in this division. Oh, sorry, Paul can't lead 1-0, sorry, it must be 2-1. Unless those other scores are wrong, and actually it wasn't 0-0 at half-time. And stupidly, Sampson's going to get booked for standing in the way of the ball.
Yeah.
That's a pathetic booking, really. As we've played 75 minutes.
That was done quite deliberately by
Dobson, yeah.
By Dobson. He knew the fullback was there, but there again, the fullback made no effort to get out of the way, so it's a pretty obvious caution was going to happen there.
Yeah. But that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone's just said he deliberately kicked it at him, but that's the whole point. Unless you retreat your 10 yards quickly,
Yeah.
you can kick it at someone.
Yeah, you are supposed to get back 10 yards.
As the referee and his assistant just working well now at the moment, but that's Samson's gone into the book. As the locals just getting involved a little bit in exactly where that kick's going to be taken. And Williams looking out as if he was going to take it. It's all a bit after you, after me, Maud. I'm a bit confused.
I don't know what he was doing running down there.
We go into the final 15 minutes now. Slough need to get back in this game quickly. Dobson tries to deliver the ball into the near post, whipped in well, headed away twice. Groves on the end of it, and then Reshaw misses it. Jake Parsons has a touch, fires it sideways to Adam Martin. Adam Martin dinks the ball forward, but volleyed away by Reed. And now it's Tucker up against Sean Fraser. Tucker on the halfway line, takes a couple of touches. He handled the ball and he ends just fouled Jake Parsons. Then there's a little bit after the ball, and then Tucker in there get into it a little bit, and then Ryan Parsons and Little Tucker are just having a little word with each other, and then they're still going on with it, and then
Tucker just had a kick.
I think they're both going to go into the book. So in the space of no time at all, we're just all of a sudden getting a little bit book happy, but Tucker and Ryan Parsons both going into the book in the 76th minute.
Well, Tucker aimed a kick, so theoretically if the referee had seen that, he was a sending off. But so he's possibly a little bit lucky to get away with just a caution.
Helping out with the booking, so they're soon mounting up, but it's all helping Bideford break up the game a little bit. I'm sure they won't mind a few bookings as they are under the cosh in this second half. All the chances up to that goal away to our left-hand side, and you wouldn't have expected that with the wind conditions as they are.
No.
Mr. Mark Russell's not a popular man with any fan at the moment, I don't think, particularly.
No. Well, I think he's had a good game, and I think that was well deserved.
I'm sure this is deja vu. I'm sure we were here a minute ago. Yeah. As Dobson once again, left-footed free kick just inside his own half, fires it towards the far post, towards Billy Jeffrey, who's walking a bit of a tightrope himself, out to Jake Parsons, far side. Jake Parsons crosses it in. It's deflected away off Groves, and it's a corner to Slough. We're in the final 15. It's still Bideford 2, Slough 0. Biddy hanging on this second half. It's been one-way traffic. They haven't really tested Williams at all in this second half. They don't need to.
They don't. But if we get one, we could well get two.
As corner whipped in by Dobson. It's as Adam Martin's going in the book now for having tackled somebody. It looks like that seemed a bit soft. Unless the referee's seen...
I think, yeah.
If the referee's seen something particular, but Adam Martin, unless it's for some mouth, Weymouth 2-0 up at home.
I think he just pushed someone.
That was a soft free kick, but that's another 78th minute. Adam Martin totting up those bookings, and he's in danger of getting another suspension at some stage. So 3 Slough players booked so far: Jeffries, Parsons, Ryan, that is, and Adam Martin, and Sampson and Tucker for Biddy. As the floodlights just start to come on a little bit, you can tell it as it's getting darker. Strong header by Billy Jeffrey, up in the air, headed away by Barker. Adam Martin fires the ball into the corner, but there's no Slough player within 20 yards of it, and Slough now trying to box them in a little bit. And the fans feeling anxious, feeling nervous, but he haven't got that strong a home record.
No, they haven't.
And they certainly haven't kept a clean sheet for a little while at home.
Well, let's hope they don't keep one today. We've certainly deserved at least one goal out of this. The second half performance has been quite a bit better.
Down in that right corner, it's Reed with the ball, and then smash forward, and it's almost like a shot. It's woeful football at the moment from Bideford. They're not keeping the ball at all. And it's straight back to Williams, and Williams looks to play the ball through into the channel. James Dobson up and wins the ball well, flicks it on, but helped away by Bideford, and Bideford put a little bit of pressure. Parsons' blood's boiling over there, but helped down the line by Reed, and Squire just falling over, and there's a little bit of a push and shove. But I think York and Squire seem quite happy with each other. They're both getting on with their jobs back there. They kind of tangled. If they were prima donnas, they'd have got after it, but they didn't at all. As Dobson once again up against Reed. Reed then wins this ball. Harris just got caught there. He did get caught. He got a foot to the ball. He got a foot to the ball ahead of I think it was Parcel in there, was it? And Slough have a free kick, 10 yards from the edge of the box, wide out on the left-hand side. It's going to be...
Kick the ball at him, Dobbo, because he's about a yard away from the ball at the moment.
You can't kick it at the referee from a yard. That wouldn't go down well.
No.
I think you might get booked if you kick it at the ball from a yard. As Groves is just having a little word with the referee. He's a one-man wall by himself, but Dobson's going to curl this across. There's a line of about 18 players all across the edge of the 18-yard box. Curl towards the far post. It's teasing, but headed away well. It's only at the edge of the box now. Headed up in the air by Ed Smith, but finally cleared by Bideford. Only as far as Parsons. Parsons lobs one over. It's now Squire in the left-back position, left-footed upfield to Tucker. Tucker up against Fraser. Tucker helps it on his way, and then that's a bit, once again, a bit aimless and hopeless because he's not doing very well with the ball there, as Williams fires the ball up to over a halfway line, but it's not accurate, only to Parcel. Parcel tries an impossible ball. Sampson's doing it, and now Dobson's firing it forward. He's looking to get the ball. It bobbled terribly just as he hit it. He can't do anything about that, but it's gone out for a goal kick. And some Slough fans, well, there's a Slough fan away down there behind the goal to the left, is trying to get away, trying to get rid of that ball quickly, isn't he? He's trying to get it back as we're in the final 10 minutes here. It's still Bideford 2, Slough 0. Can Slough get back into this game in the final 10 minutes?
Yeah, the keeper's not in a rush, obviously, to take it. Still think we deserve something out of this game.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a 2-0 game, if I'm honest with you.
No,
As Squire has a heavy touch there, knocks the ball out of play. Slough trying to get on with this game. At the moment, Cirencester leading 3-0 at Chesham in another game in this kind of sort of area. But Slough losing it. Dobson quickly trying to fire the ball at the line. Some ironic shouts. Ball firing around in there. Ben Edwards heads it in towards the edge of the box. It's up in the air, not very far away by Harrison. It's really getting dark over there, isn't it? The floodlights don't seem to be covering the middle of the pitch.
No, they don't.
Are all the floodlights on?
Yeah, they are. You can see. I
can see that. As you can see, because it looks like that. You can see the four corners, but the middle of the pitch in about 10 minutes. Well, thank you. It's only 10 minutes to go. But, Adam Martin nearly gives the ball away there on the halfway line, but to Dobson, back to Martin. Got plenty of pressure around him, and he does well there. It's quickly picked up by Neil Baker in the Slough dugout. Throwed up the line. Heavy touch there by by Sampson, and now thrown down the line. Scott Harris running into that left-hand corner, trying to cut it across. Reed up against him. He's got 2 or 3 players. He's played it towards the edge of the box to Martin. Martin into Ed Smith. Heavy touch there, but an even heavier touch there by Harrison. It's going to be a corner to Slough. Slough desperate to get back into this game with 7 or 8 minutes remaining of normal time.
More pressure. Dobbo's coming across to take it.
17 Swain, yeah.
Going to be an outswinging corner.
Outswing corner, left-hand side. Dobson chips it in towards the far post. It's hit Reshawk on the hand. He tries to clear it, but now there's a race, and there's Parsons going to try and get it. Parsons flicks it across. It's to other Parsons, Jake Parsons, midway inside the half, running into a darkened area, not quite well lit up by the floodlights. Step over there on the far side, but not quite quick enough. And Adam Martin tried to keep it on that far side. Final substitution for Bideford now.
Yeah, the floodlights seem to be lighting up the corners and not the centre.
Yeah, they don't. The floodlights definitely don't seem to be lining up the centre of the pitch. There's an injury here. Just waiting a little bit of time. They might hang on with their substitution just for a minute or two, as it all goes quiet. But we're in the final stages of this game at the sports ground. Bideford still lead 2-0. It was the half-time score.
Yeah, quite curious, the floodlights, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Corners very well lit, centre a bit gloomy.
Okay, and apparently this, we've just been told reliably by one of the local journalists that apparently Bideford have got until March to raise the necessary funds to fund the floodlight improvements. Otherwise, I think they'll probably face sanctions from the Southern League. And as they're flying along quite nicely at the moment, 12 points from safety. I'm sure they don't want any kind of fines or any penalties.
No.
And substitute still. I don't think it has been made. They're sitting down as Reshawk now has the ball bouncing on the halfway line, meets it, controlled by Adam Martin. Ben Edwards tries to take a touch of it. Those Slough shirts getting very dark in those central areas as the ball's fired long. It's well won there by Dan Harrison. Long ball played forward though, and it's Slough quickly on the retreat between the goalkeeper and Billy Jeffries on that far side. Billy Jeffries looking to quickly take it. And there is now a substitution. And it is oncoming number 17, George Swain. And
Number 10.
And off is coming little Billy Tucker, who's run his socks off today. And he's just been told to walk, as I think is probably sensible in these situations. But he's Ed Smith's just trying to help him on his way a little bit as a gritter goes past behind the ground, just making you feel how cold it is here. Billy getting a good hand.
They're certainly going to use up the entire 30 seconds that they're allowed for a substitution, aren't they, with this one? There's somebody else that was on the far side of the field.
As Billy's made a big impression again. He scored the first goal after 10 seconds. Set Bideford on their way, and they're now on the brink of 3 vital points in this season for the Southern Premier League. As Slough, certainly the last kind of 5 minutes or so, they haven't been quite as advanced, and somehow get a free kick there. It looked like Groves played it there into Sean Fraser on the far side, but Sean Fraser, against the backdrop of the stand on the far side, fires it up the line. Jake Parsons in the middle of midfield, trying to get a foot on the ball, plays the ball out to the right, cut out though, and now it's Ben Edwards to Billy Jeffries. Billy Jeffries fires a long ball forward, and it's for Slough to attack, and it's played up in the air. Scott Harris trying to go and get the ball. Plenty of Slough. Scott Harris does well. He bullies a couple of their players off it, plays it out to the right, but in front of Fraser, casually off, and you feel somewhat that Slough's chance has gone, don't you, really, Mick? It's too late now.
Yeah, it is a little bit too late now, but as I say, I still think we've deserved a point out of this one. Bideford have offered nothing in the second half at all. I think nearest they came was that shot that went way over Luke's crossbar, and they've had nothing else at all to offer in the second half.
As the ball played crossfield, headed on by Ryan Parsons, James Dobson just has a slightly heavy touch, and Reed just slashes at that. Parsons heads it down the line, flicked on by Dobson. Dobson in the direction of Ed Smith, but climbing there. Dobson still gambling on the ball, but headed well away, and Reed's going to clear this ball long, and Reed does clear the ball long, and just collided there with Ed Smith, but ball not cleared fully, and Adam Martin in the middle of midfield picks a pass out to Fraser. Fraser plays it down the line to Jake Parsons. Parsons cutting inside, flicks the ball inside towards Scott Harris, but it's over here, and out comes Oliver, picks the ball up well, and will have the opportunity to clear it quite easily.
Doesn't look as though anyone's leaving.
Weymouth 3, Histon 0, so Weymouth look like they're going back to the top of the table, I think, this evening.
Yeah, it should be.
As Slough are now under pressure, they're defending is deep on the right hand side. It's the captain Groves dancing with the ball, under pressure from Ben Edwards, but plays it back well, holds the ball up, plays it back to Reed, right back position. Then a blind ball, hopeless ball by Parso gets the fury of the crowd, as it certainly wasn't the best pass. As we go into the final 2 minutes of the 90, it's still Bideford 2, Slough 0.
There'll be a good 3 minutes, I would have thought, of added time for all the substitutions, if nothing else.
Ball fired up by Williams. Well won though in the middle. Helped on its way, but now Ryan Parsons did it, and then there's Ben Edwards is going down holding his foot, and Ed Smith running blindly at the player there, Matt Villis, and slashed down the line. Well held up by Squires, who's buffeted very heavily at the back by York. Down to Sampson. Sampson now running towards the corner. He's going to try and waste a little bit of time down there in the corner. Sampson coming back inside. Adam Martin not looking to foul him. Sampson doing a good job of protecting the ball. His touch is poor. He falls over theatrically, and it's a throw on to Slough.
Yeah, not great ball control, was it?
No, he did well initially. He wasted a good few seconds, but
yeah.
Foul throw there. I think that's a foul throw. It was a foul throw. I think a few fans don't quite understand
I'm not
the
sure
concept
that it
of
was a foul throw. I think the
what's
linesman's
happening off
seen
the ball?
something.
Has he said there's a foul throw?
Or has he?
Has there been a foul throw, or has there been something else? Is it just about the location of the throw-in? It's a foul throw, and I think it's a foul throw. It's all a bit confusing.
Went in and out. Probably went.
Oh, the ball went in and out. Okay. Well, anyway, the end result is true. Is that Bideford have a throw. Just trying to look at the late score. As the rain starts to come down again, it feels a bit like happening. Full time, apparently Corby, full time 1-0. Goal to Poulton. Poulton lead 1-0. Full time 1-0. So Corby have lost at Poulton, which is a big result.
It is a big result.
As Slough still battling on, and a nasty tackle there from Ed Smith. And Ed Smith could be in a bit of trouble here because that was he left his foot up there. Matt Villis took exception to that.
That's at least a booking.
And this could be curtains for Ed Smith this afternoon. His fiery redhead may have got him in trouble. Referee seems quite calm about the whole thing though. He's not immediately going for it. He's given himself some time to think about this.
Yeah,
and it is a yellow. It's going to be a yellow for Ed Smith in the 90th minute.
Well deserved, unfortunately.
It's not unusual on an afternoon like this.
No,
he gets frustrated.
His foot was high. He was late. He's frustrated. You can tell he's frustrated, but it's a silly caution at 2-0 with minutes to go.
Yeah, so Reed's going to have the opportunity to clear the ball long. And Slough are looking at a back-to-back defeat without scoring a goal and troubling the scorers, and that must be a bit of a concern to John Unders and Bakes as the ball's played long forward by Reed, and it's held up there well by Bideford, who are actually having some of their best spell as it bubbles up nicely for Jeffries. It's out as far as the substitute. It's deflected by Williams. It's going to be a corner as Stephen Reed's shot was fired away, and it's going to be we're in the death throes here. We've played 46 minutes.
And ironically, they've got a corner of Bideford in the last few moments of the game, which is the first time they've really threatened. I mean, that wasn't going anywhere near the goal when it came off the defender, but even so, it's the first time they've threatened. Hopefully they'll not make it 3.
So we're waiting an in-swinging corner from the far side. Bideford trying to seal off a perfect afternoon, keeping a clean sheet, and if they could get a third here, it would send them into heaven as ball swung in towards the far post. There's absolutely no pressure whatsoever, and Williams did a little bit of a job of juggling it, but because there's no one near him, he's bowled the ball out onto the floor, and he's going to look to fire this ball forward as we're in the death throes of this game. As Adam Martin tries to flick the ball forward, Jake Parsons after it, up against Barker on that far side, and Barker does well with his strength, looks to play a ball down the channel for Squire to chase, and Squire running a little bit empty on fuel at the moment, up against Jeffrey, and Jeffrey needs to deal with this easily. He plays it all across to Williams. Williams, right-footed, deals with it well. St Neots 2, Banbury 1 is another score in the division as Slough still look to try and get back into this game, but it's Bideford quite happily camped at the moment down in the Slough half, and they're going forward as we speak. And now Slough set away. Jake Parsons over the halfway line tries to play it ball to feet. It's cut out simply by Dan Harrison, who's had a good game at the back, and it's all the way forward. We are in the final stage. Do you think, as you said, Mick, you don't really think 2-0's are kind of the applicable score for the game itself?
No, not from the second half performance. No, we haven't put the ball in the net, but we've had virtually all the pressure in the second half.
As Ben Edwards is getting involved in the middle of midfield, winning and ball tenaciously, plays it out to Ryan Parsons. Ryan Parsons cuts inside on his right foot, doesn't really have any options, plays it to the feet of Ed Smith, who's got booked recently, plays it to Dobson. Dobson in line with the edge of the box, 3 or 4 players around him, but loses the ball and is probably frustrated. Puts in a strong tackle, wins the ball, and he's going to get after it to try and keep the ball in on that far side. He's won a throw in, I think it was, but that was tenacious. You worried for a moment, your head was in your hands as Dobson went in on that ball. He's taken the short ball. Slough need to get this ball into the box. There's a few minutes of injury time to play still, and it's fired in deep. Fraser just gives his marker a little shove, but Bideford do enough to get it clear towards the edge of the box. Adam Martin picks it up. Adam Martin to Fraser. Fraser back to Adam Martin, midway inside the Bideford half on the far right hand side. Jake Parsons now with the ball, with his back to goal on the far side, miscontrols it. It's a throw-in. Back to Adam Martin. Adam Martin, we need to get the ball into the box, but that's misplaced, and now Bideford have the chance to hold it up on the halfway line with Squire. Squire tries to switch the ball across, and Parsons fully committed up against Sampson, and Sampson up against York, and York does well to come across, picks the ball up, and York's been solid today. You can't blame him really, can you?
No, I don't think so.
He's been one of the few Slough players who I think can actually, at the end of the day, hold their head up high and say they've done a decent shift today. As Scott Harris jumps into his marker, and Dobson picks the ball up on, flicks it off his equivalent, and as one of the fans just shouts that it will soon be Sunday, as Chippenham are leading at Dunstable. The locals getting restless. They can sense blood, and Chippenham 1, Dunstable. And Slough pushing forward through to the end. Adam Martin firing the ball through. There's no Slough player within 10 yards of it. It's going to be hooked away by Nick Milton. Ryan Parsons quickly throws the ball into Jake Parsons. Back to Ryan Parsons. Tries to chip the ball down the line. Hooked away by Sampson. It's all a bit messy at the moment. Middle by Reed. Jake Parsons to Ben Edwards to Ryan Parsons. Still fighting away midway inside the Bideford half. And now Scott Harris is putting a bit of pressure on. There's a lot of fighting and battling going on there, but eventually the ball's cleared by Bideford, but it's not in the right direction. The referee has yet another look at his watch. Mr. Russell is about to call time on this game. Short to Dobson. Dobson miscontrols it slightly, but to Parsons. Slough need to get the ball in the box if they're going to do it now. And Dobson out to Adam Martin, 30 yards from goal. Is he going to pull the trigger? He dinks a little ball, but it only hits Barker. It's still the edge of the box. Plays it to Fraser. Fraser having a run at it. Tries to hook the ball across. It's out for a goal kick. And that is that. It's a victory for the Robins. Robins win 2-0, and they scored decisively very early on at the very start and the very end of the first half. And there's not a lot more you can really say about that, Mick, is there?
There isn't. It was an aimless first half. We never mastered when the conditions when we had the wind with us. We were pumping the ball down 30 yards in front of anybody. And I think probably at half time it didn't deserve to be 2-0 because neither side played well. Second half we were by far the better side. Luke wasn't troubled at all in the second half. We had all the chances. We had one in the net that was offside. We had many more chances to score, and we just didn't do it today.
No, so we'll leave you all. We'll speak to you all shortly and soon, and we'll let you all get on with the rest of your days, and we'll speak to you all next Saturday.